cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Well, they thought it was all over, but it isn't. It's just beginning, or it's just about to begin. At 3:45, after what seems like countless hours of inactivity, Sri Lanka will play England in a 21-over match. 21 overs per side, that is. So not to be confused with 2020, and not to be confused with 100.
It's the new format, Hinder.
It's what is it? What is 21 times 6? It's 126, isn't it?
It is.
It's the 126. That's what it is. It's a new competition that they're trying out in Sri Lanka to see whether people like it or not. And then, of course, it may be transposed to England amongst a small smattering of franchise sides. Anyway, the news is that England have won the toss, and Owen Morgan said they're going in with the same side, which is a bit tricky because, let's face it, Liam Dawson is at this moment on a plane back to England. He had to be reminded that there was another player playing for England. It's Tom Curran. Tom Curran has come into the team, so England go in with a team that reads Jason Roy, Johnny Bairstow, Joe Root, Owen Morgan, Ben Stokes, Joss Butler, Moeen Ali, Chris Wokes, Tom Curran, Adil Rashid and Ollie Stone. The Sri Lankans make some enforced changes and others that weren't so enforced. Kusal Mendis has come back into the team because one of the Pereiras has got an injury. Nirishan Dikwella, we have Sadira Samarakwirama, which is not the easiest name to say. He's coming in at number 3. Dinesh Chandamal, Dhananjaya De Silva, Dasan Shanaka, Thisara Pereira, Akila Dhananjaya, Amila Aponzo, the slow left-arm orthodox bowler, comes into the team. Lasith Malinga and Nuwan Pradeep. I am Nigel Henderson, Gorilla Hendo, and alongside me I have people who've done sterling work already today. I don't know how many donuts Nestle Boy has consumed.
2.
Just the 2. He's on my left, and a man who looks like he never consumes donuts.
Lots of lollipops, though.
Lots of lollipops. It's Andy Ward, get it quietly, on my right. 21 overs aside, chaps, are we going to get through it, do you think?
Who knows?
Yeah, not sure. Do you think after Owen Morgan said we had the same team and then Liam Dawson wasn't there, England should have had to play with 10?
Or they should have had the plane turn round in midair and come back and drop it.
Something like he would have to parachute in.
Parachute in, yes.
The thing is, you can't blame him. I mean, they've been as bored as we have, and he's probably just lost his mind for a
Well, yeah,
bit,
apparently Ben Stokes and Johnny Bairstow were out there threatening the umpires, telling them,
Yeah.
we must play, we're very bored.
We must play because the Gorilla Boys are still there and they want to commentate.
Yeah, I wonder if any of the players fell asleep in front of Thor Ragnarok in the dressing room.
It's quite an achievement, that, isn't it, actually?
As much as I love that film, it is quite an achievement to fall asleep during it.
Just shows you how tired I am.
How dedicated
much
to
I put
sleep
into this
you are.
bloody project over the years.
Would you like some tweets?
Yeah, go on then.
Muttley is with us.
Hello, Muttley. We'll do your competition hopefully on Saturday, if that's all right.
Okay.
Muttley, let me know that that's okay.
So I haven't missed anything, he says. No, you haven't missed a thing. Any Chave or Chav? Is Chave? Chav. Really? Are we really getting played? Annie, we really are. Jeff Perkins says, so when's this inaugural 126 match going to start?
Well, there we are. It's happening in a few minutes.
Oh, from Darkest Peru is with us. Says, what-ho? I'm able to listen in as I'm skiving off from a visiting speaker's talk. Feeling a bit ginger after a pint with friends yesterday turned into a chucked out of the pub at midnight session. We've all been there.
Yep.
And Annie says, can he open and then come in at 3 to 11?
Who?
I don't know.
Who?
Annie, who? Who, Annie, who?
Joss, probably.
Joss, perhaps, yes. Well, I don't think... England won the toss and put Sri Lanka in, so I don't think that you have to think about changes to the batting order at this stage. I mean, if Sri Lanka were to tot up 215, maybe England would think about it.
Is she a Josh fanatic?
Everyone's a Joss fanatic.
Okay.
I think you'll find. Grubby, I think, is probably the biggest Joss fanatic.
Grubby is.
He's very big on Grubby, or very big on Joss, rather.
Josh probably doesn't know Grubby.
No, he probably does. No, he does, because Grubby's son
God, here we go.
He did the what do you call it? The floss.
Macarena?
No, he did the floss in front of Joss Ballard. Didn't you see it on Twitter?
What the fuck is the floss?
It's that stupid dance, isn't it?
Yeah, I told you I have a
Oh
pathological
no, you hate
hatred of
dance. Don't you? Anyway, well, we'll move on because we're actually going to get some cricket. Believe it or not, they're out there. They snuck out there without anyone telling us.
They're out.
And England are going to open the bowling. I'm guessing it's going to be Chris Wokes.
I've got everybody queued up, but I do have to see who it is.
Yes.
I'll queue up this batsman then. He's definitely out there.
How do you know he's a nice bloke?
It's a bit ASMR, that jingle. And a bowler is going to be Chris Wokes.
He's on Instagram, and he's a Twitter fan.
He's coming in to bowl at a dry Kandy. Oh, and he goes through the defences of Dick Weller, who looks bemused by that one that came back into him and snuck its way through between bat and pad. Thoughts at first that there might have been an edge.
His reaction there was like he'd been toiling all day trying to get him out, though. Did you see that?
It was like, for God's sake, what more have I got to do?
To get this man
Oh
out.
my
It
goodness
was
me.
very close to off stump, to be fair.
Now I think also we have Sadira opening the batting at the other end. I don't think it's Kusal Mendes. We'll jingle him up very soon. Here comes Wokes again. He has a slip, and this one comes back into Dick Weller. It's forcing him onto the back foot, and he turns it towards mid-wicket, and there is no run.
The lights are being adjusted to get our best sides and to get the lights sort of on the right.
Oh, we are playing under lights tonight.
We are.
We are.
Very good. I find it a bit slippery under lights. What do you think? I mean,
The dew affects your grip on the beer.
At the beer and of course the microphone.
Ravi Nair's back with us.
Hello, Ravi.
We've got the great new 3x7x6 competition. Bowlers can bowl 7 ball overs if they want, or any other combination, right?
Well, I wonder about that. Wokes in again, full, driven, in the air, but finding the gap between extra cover and mid-off. He doesn't need to run for that, as they used to say. It's 4 runs.
1,
Oh.
3, 4.
And he continues, I mean, this simplifies things. Grubby, Annie and I are the biggest Josh fanatics and haven't played stone, scissors, paper to decide.
Well, maybe we shall arrange that. Woke's turns at the top of his run. Took 3 wickets, of course, in the shortened game on Saturday. He tries to pull this one. Dick Weller plays over the top of it. Through to the keeper it goes. And there is no run.
I'm not an expert on stone, paper, scissors. Is there one thing that beats everything in it?
No, that would kind of negate the point of the game.
But what beats rock?
Paper.
How?
Paper wraps it up.
Oh.
And
I
then
think you could argue
window.
you could just throw the rock through the paper, or indeed bash the other person over the head with the rock.
It's not perfect, is it? It's not
Scissors
perfect
cuts
as
the
games
paper.
go. Wokes then in to Dick Weller, who makes room for himself and then drives this squarer this time, finding the gap between backward point and cover, and that is another boundary. Now there are a lot of children there cheering that boundary, and I would have thought it was well past their bedtime, wouldn't you? When you say so, Andy, I
You would
think
think
absolutely
so.
outrageous. The things they get away with these days, craziness, I tell you, craziness.
On the limited sample we've seen so far, I'd suggest back of the length is better than floaty half volley.
Yeah, floaty half volley. It's
Mackle Nandy's with us.
Hello, Knuckle Mandy.
One bowler will be allowed to bowl 5 overs maximum, the rest up to 4. More Rashid, he says.
That was a slower cutter from Wokes, and Dick Weller went onto his toes to try and cut, but found the man at cover. And that is the end of the first over, the first of 21. Sri Lanka are 8 without loss.
Jeff Perkins says the version where one of the 3 trumps all the others is rock, paper, machine gun.
Or rock, paper, enormous sword, like they have in is it Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they suddenly he brings out a big sword. No, it was a gun, isn't it?
Gun.
That's right. It was
Well,
a
if
gun.
you hadn't have fallen asleep, you'd have seen the big swords in Thor Ragnarok.
There were just swords. I mean, there were too many swords. I know Mog won't agree with me.
And a
but-
hammer.
No, definitely not. All right, it's going to be this man who is new to me. He's going to open the batting. Oh, I like this already.
Sadira Sama with Rama. Don't you know that he's silent? Sadira Samara with Rama. Behind the stuff that you always find him.
I think I'm going to refer to him as Sadira,
Oh,
since
it's
that's
this,
what he has on the back of his
Garden
shirt.
of Eden, isn't it? A song, yeah.
Oh, he's going to face Ollie Stone, who
He is. It's not also new to me. Okay, this is a bit more easy listening.
here he is in bowls. Oh, and Sadira's first shot is a false one, but he's going to get 4 runs for it. Thick inside edge. Lucky that it didn't go down onto his stumps. Run away to fine leg for one of these.
4. PJ Mead is with us.
Hello, PJ.
Hello, Gorillas. Only 6 hours late. This game has the punctuality of some train franchises.
Oh, it's a bit like Paddington today, isn't it? You didn't think anything was going to arrive. Have any trains gone out of Paddington today?
What's wrong with Paddington?
Oh, the problems with the electrics.
Oh, do they?
It was absolute chaos this morning. Stone in again, too wide of the off stump. He throws the bat at that without any foot movement. It flies one bounce to a fine third man, and it's 4 more. Well, Sadira's going along at what, 400 runs per 100 balls at the moment. 8
Yep,
off
and
2.
Stone's going at 24 and over.
Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, well, you bring these youngsters in. They just
Did
haven't
give him
got
too
the-
much width there.
Yeah, it was a terrible ball. It really was.
This is just going to be a lash, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's
This is
2020,
a lash,
isn't it?
yeah.
Effectively, it's a 21-21. Decent crowd in now, it seems. Stone in again, bowls, and this is left alone, strangely enough, outside the off stump, and through to Butler it goes.
Jeff Perkins says, you malign
Malign who?
Mog. He
Malign him?
believes in a balance between sword and axe.
Yes, but the sword axis is an important one with Mog. I do appreciate that. And I imagine poor Mog's either gone to work or gone to bed now.
Jeff also says the problem with Paddington is marmalade on the tracks.
Yeah, that's what it is. Stone in again, pushed to mid-wicket where there is no fielder. It means that Wokes has to come round from mid-on, and they take a single, 17 for no wicket. The power play is just the 4 overs today, not the 6. Power play 1, power play 2 is overs 5 to 17, and the power play 3 is the final 3 overs, 18 to 21. 4 bowlers can bowl a maximum of 4, 1 bowler can bowl a maximum of 5, and there's a change of innings that lasts 10 whole minutes.
And there are 2 white balls.
And there are 2 white balls.
What's the decision, the thinking for the one extra over? Why don't they just say it's a T20?
Well, rules is rules. X amount of minutes left means X amount of overs
Is that
to
what
play.
it is?
Yeah,
That's all. That's what they've done. It's just odd, isn't it?
It does seem a bit odd. Stone then into Dick Weller, and Dick Weller steps back and pulls. Pulled in the same direction that he was moving effectively, and has got that away through mid-wicket, and has picked up another boundary.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
There's going to be a lot of towel usage on the ball because the outfield
Yes.
is probably quite wet still, I think.
That's probably true. Put that away well, and Stone is taking a bit of punishment at the moment. He bowled pretty well on Saturday. I didn't see him myself, but from the reports, hurried one or two players.
Now, pretty hard for any sport where you've got rain delays, where you've just been sitting around all day and suddenly you've got to perform, especially if you thought you weren't.
Stone bowls back of a length, in fact, quite short, and that's very cleverly played by Dick Weller, who steps outside his leg stump, lifts his bat up and allows the ball to run off the face over the top of the slips, and for another 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4.
Dan
Yeah.
Joslin's happy.
He is? Well, I'm glad.
Nice of the game to hold off until the exact point was done with my work obligations for my drive back to the office. Sorry for the wait, everyone. Thanks for hanging out, gorillas.
Well, that's what we do.
And PJ Mead says, rock, paper, scissors, the one that beats everything is dynamite, actually. I don't play this game.
Nuclear bomb, perhaps?
I wanted to ask Mog a question. I'm ashamed he's gone to bed.
Well, he may not have gone to bed. Someone wake him up. Someone ruffle his feathers.
Mog!
Rattle his cage.
Rattle his cage.
Mog!
Something to do.
I want to know if disinterested handjob is just him. I have a theory.
Yeah, because everyone else is disinterested. So I imagine it's just him. 25 for no wicket after 2 overs. You're watching or listening to a 21 over a side match from Palakelly, and it's a suburb of Kandy in the central province.
Fucking clients, leave me alone.
City of 130,000 people. What other things can I remember from my Wikipedia?
Well, I could give you
little
some.
look?
I could give you some information about Ballykelly, which was a village 3 miles from us, which had about 14 people living in it.
Wokes bowls to Sadira. Sadira turns good length deliveries to mid-wicket, and there is no run.
Nagul Pandy.
Nagul Pandy.
I'm sorry, I haven't a clue. Played an audio version of Rock, Paper, Scissors using sound effects. It was called Cow Lake Bomb. Cow drinks lake, lake extinguishes bomb, bomb blows up cow. We could do something with jingles.
Well, yeah, I think I'd struggle to keep that one in my head. Cow Lake Bomb.
Yeah.
Couldn't lake drown cow.
Cow drink
Slower
lake.
ball. Defended, well, I say defended, the face is opened, it's steered down to third man for a single. 26 for no wicket.
Cow drinking a lake is pushing it a bit.
That's a lot to drink. I mean, and even though a cow has 5 stomachs or something ridiculous, I'm not sure it could store a whole lake's worth of water.
Ditcher's got 5 stomachs, hasn't he? I'm sure he has.
Mr. Pot,
That's
meet
very
Mr. Castle.
That's very
Well, I mean, hardly. He's about twice the size of everybody.
I think you're possibly doing a 3-stomach version at the moment. I'm probably doing a 4-stomach version. Anyway, Wokes will continue. It's 26 for no wicket. We're all slightly hysterical, having been here for about 6 hours, I have to
We've
say.
got cabin fever.
Dosing up on sugar.
Yeah. Here is Wokes, the left-handed Dick Weller, has 16 off 8. He goes back and cuts nicely, but straight to Jason Roy, who patrols that position at backward point like a panther.
Yol says, if Sri Lanka win this, does it mean that they've won an ODI?
It does.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not a T20.
Indeed not. Well, they played 2 games against South Africa here back in August, and they won 1 and lost 1. I think they won 1 by 3 runs, and they lost 1. No, and lost 1 by 78 runs. And again, it was one was the day night and one was a day game. We've got a day game coming up on Saturday. Goes back, waits for this one nicely, and then plays a beautiful stroke. Brilliant timing. I thought he was only going to get 2 for that as Adil Rashid came round from third man, but it just kept going. Rashid couldn't get there, and Dick Weller has another boundary.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Wolf says Muttley.
Hello, Muttley.
Won't be
Wolf.
tuning in long. About to go out for a carvery with a friend.
Oh.
Very Alan Partridge. And then wheelchair basketball.
Oh, right, okay.
Good luck. That seems very tough. Yeah.
Oh
God.
yeah, I should think so. Yeah.
Because you've got to push the wheel while at the same
rotate
time.
And yeah, all
same
sorts
time
of
as
things.
Rennie Keita's got some finish for us. I'll tell you in a minute.
Full ball, slower ball, but picked up by Dick Weller. I don't think he got that quite as right in the middle of the bat, but his fours are just flowing from his blade at the moment. It's another one out to mid-wicket.
Pally Kelly's finish for bollocks weather. Yes, really.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, why would the Sri Lankans name their ground after something in Finnish? I think we've seen through your ploy, your ruse.
PJ Me says, I'm feeling a tad disgruntled. When the game was about due to start, I sat down with a cup of tea and some leftover blueberry roulade. Now I'm sat with nothing to eat until tea.
Any of that left, no.
Woy Pom is disgusted at the stoutest abuse being directed at the unabsent Mr. Ditch.
Stoutest abuse.
Well, you know, it's stout. It was a stoutette who gave him the abuse, I suppose.
That's right. Yeah.
That's your word.
There's certainly some stoutness around today.
There's a bit of stoutness.
Wokes in to complete his second over. Dick Weller goes one way, goes another way, and then plays a beautiful shot through the covers for another boundary. 13 runs off the over. Sri Lanka are racing along at 38 for no wicket from 3.
They are one person, they are two love poems, they are three together, they are four.
I can understand why they're going along so quickly and why they're playing so many shots, of course, because
it might rain again.
Well, no, you get confused, don't you? Because this is a 21 over game. You go into T20 mode and you think, oh, there must be 6 overs for the power play, but because it's a one-day international, it's been reduced. There's actually only 4 overs to the power play.
Well, you just go into the mode of trying to get as many runs as possible, don't you?
Well, in the first 4 overs.
Well,
partly that. But if you think a normal T20 has 6 power play overs,
these guys probably don't want to replay this game now.
I don't know.
It won't be replayed anyway. Oh, you mean they don't really want to play? Or did you say they don't want to replay it?
They don't really. They probably all kind of were in a mode where they were thinking, oh, we're going to go back to the hotel soon.
Well, it's about which team's more professional and less in that mode.
Tom Curran's on for Ollie Stone, who's taken off after a 1 over for 17, and they run a quick single as this is pushed to a rather deep set extra cover. Morgan is the fielder.
Yes, it is a change of bowling. It's this man. Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
The most effectual top cat. Who's intellectual, close friends get to call him TC.
Yeah, Dick Weller, I'm liking the way he's playing. He's stepping outside the off stump. He's then stepping back outside the leg stump, trying to play with the minds of the England bowlers, and he's doing a pretty good job of it at the moment. I don't seem to know quite where to put it to him. Here comes Curran. What will he do? Bowl him a slow ball, but he's played the rump shot and he's been caught. No, just short of Adil Rashid, diving forward at short, fine leg, and having not been able to stop it even, it's run away for another boundary. We are really using all the cartoon jingles here, aren't we?
Well, a little bit of cartoonish fielding there.
He probably should have caught that, shouldn't he?
Well, I think he's just pulled out of it a tiny little bit.
Muttley's tweeted us about his competition.
Oh, yes, okay.
I'm still getting to grips with it, he says. Don't forget I am offering a prize of 1 year's subscription to Guerrilla Archives to a random donor to my current fundraiser for an off-road wheelchair to do Taff Trail in.
He tries to play another ramp shot. He's gone right across his off stump, and I think he's got outside the line, so the appeal that comes from Curran when he's hit on the pad is null and void, really.
I didn't know there were such things as off-road wheelchairs. I didn't.
I don't know. I don't really know, thankfully.
Rennie Keita says every word means something rude in some other language, and it's usually Finnish.
Yes, that's possibly true. Dick Weller's raced on to 32 from 14 deliveries. Sadira has 11 from 7. It's 43 for no wicket. Sri Lanka enjoying the fact that this game has been reduced to 21 overs per side, I think. Curran, then that strange run-up bowls him a slower ball, and that's a clever one because Dick Weller was coming down the wicket, didn't read it at all, was kind of yorked by it, but it wasn't straight, so no harm was done, except in preventing him scoring. It was one from the back of the hand. So clever bowling from Curran.
Nagul Pandy says players seem even more freed up playing ODI shortened to 20 odd overs than they are playing a T20. The first over of a T20 is usually the slowest. Kandy Council announced in 2010 they were going to rename the ground after Murali. They haven't got round to it yet.
No, that's right, absolutely. This is another slower ball, which is flicked up to mid-on by Dick Weller. He'll take the single.
Well, you know, it takes a long time to put up the Muralitharan stand everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, someone's got to actually get down and do that, haven't they? Someone's actually got to write it, and it's a long name. I mean, I suppose, unless they're using all his names, in which case it could take years.
I mean, I was going to say they've lost income from not having his name on shirts, but they've got plenty of other long names they can put on the shirts and charge people by the letter.
They're not short of a long name of many syllables.
Good job they don't play Premier League football.
Oh, gosh, can you imagine trying to pronounce all those names quickly? Onto the back foot goes Sadira. Again, gets a slight inside edge. Moeen runs round from backward square leg to field. They take the single.
No, but that would be good.
For no wicket after 4.
That would be good because we wouldn't have to do it. Alan Green would have to do it.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
No, I mean,
Alan Green doing that.
The parents wouldn't like it, though, having to buy the shirts.
Well, I mean, you'd have to buy 2 shirts to get the names on, wouldn't you?
Even better.
Probably. Or you'd have to go down, wouldn't you? Gradually go down, and then you'd go across the number on the back. So it's fraught with problems, Nestlers.
You've thought this through.
This is probably the only thing that's holding Sri Lankan footballers back and why we don't see any of them.
From dominating Premier League.
Yeah. I think we were having a conversation the other day, I was listening, where the Sri Lankan national sport is volleyball. It's really weird. I think I looked it up and it was because the government just decreed that it was volleyball and said, right, it's going to be volleyball from now on.
Yeah. I mean,
predictably enough, that didn't work very well.
When I was looking for info about Kandy itself, I was told that I read that volleyball hadn't really taken off in Kandy.
No,
so that doesn't really it's not a very good national sport
it strikes a bit of let's find something that's no one else's national sport.
I listened to that on a bus going through the West End when you were having that conversation.
About volleyball. Yeah. Well, Moeen Ali's into the attack.
His hair's confusing me.
It's the end of the brief power play, so
it is indeed.
The field out, but it is this man.
Our bed shouldn't touch. Move over, I'm low. I like it too much. Move over.
And he bowls a full toss to start with, a low full toss, which is firmly struck up to long on, and they take a single.
Being follically challenged myself, I just wonder when I see him with a full head of hair like he's got now, is why he shaves it.
Well, it's a faith thing, isn't it?
Is it?
I liked his moustache. So. I liked when he had the moustache as well.
Is it a faith thing?
I think it's a faith thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know anything about faiths.
I've been talking to you about Buddhism all day. I've been talking to you about Buddhism. I've been talking to you about the Temple of the Sacred Tooth, for God's sake.
Well, it's washing over me. I mean, but you've been asleep most of the day.
I was asleep for about half an hour during 4.
Half an hour?
Half an hour of thought. It was so noisy. Round the wicket to Dick Weller. Dick Weller pushes into the onside. They're thinking about a second. Are they going to take it? No.
Right.
As Bairstow it is who's come galloping in off the mid-wicket boundary to field.
When you were asleep, did you notice me playing with your nose?
Yes. Did you feel Nestle Boy molesting you?
I was playing with your nose when you were asleep.
Well, I do hope someone's got some documentary evidence of this, because obviously I will be taking you to court for assault.
Assault.
He's back over the wicket now to the right-hander. The right-hander goes back and tries to create room, and does quite successfully. I'm not sure he was trying to get as square as that. Bairstow has slipped as he tries to pick up.
When someone in a cartoon starts to run, they do about 3 or 4 steps on the spot before they run. It was like that, Bairstow. Watch him when he gets up here.
It's a bit like when you know how
it's like Roadrunner
throwing it off his knees.
Or someone runs over a cliff in a cartoon, and then they suddenly realise they look down.
Cartoon physics. You don't fall until you realise you're not on the ground anymore.
Wily Coyote.
Physics. I like that idea. This is turned off straight by Sadira. It'll bring the man at deep backward square into action. They take a single.
We've got
50's up, 50 for no wicket.
Somebody called Boring Cricket has tweeted in.
Boring Cricket.
After Matthews, they've dropped Tharanga. Well, here's Gary. Jeff Perkins says the advantage of being the size of a typical Gorilla Cricket listener is you can easily fit the names of Sri Lankan cricketers on your shirts.
That's true, yeah.
That's because we're such broad-shouldered brutes.
That's true. That's true.
My God! Speaking of broad-shouldered brutes.
Not Fred arrives. This is pushed through mid-on by Dick Weller. He'll take his 35th run from 18 deliveries. 1 ball remaining in the 5th over, and then there will be a double change as I sneak off. Nestler sneaks off.
Oh, you're leaving me here, are you?
No, you better come out. Nestle better stay because you want to come on for the 3rd ball by ball.
I come for the 3rd one, yeah. I'm going to have some soup.
So it'll be Gary will be taking over on the ball by ball chair. Here comes Moe. Bowls. Oh, now what happened there? It's gone very fine. Whatever happened, it may have come off pad. It may have come a bit off the face of the bat as he was trying to glance it, but it's run all the way to the boundary. It's 4 more. 55 for no wicket. Leg byes.
Leg byes.
Well, there's a change of bodies, as you can see. We have Gary coming in to do ball by ball. Not Fred Titmus. He's going to be playing jingles, and he's going to be very busy going by what's already happened in this game, because we've just had nothing but boundaries, it seems. Messi Jez is with us. He says things you don't expect to hear on Guerrilla Cricket number 35. Ditch has 5 stomachs. And Knuckle Pandy's tweeted in about clubs curling the name round the number. Muralai only has 1 extra name. He's Tamil, so doesn't have the multi-name convention a la WPUJC, VAS that Sudanese families use. You have to be.
Are you going to correct him or should I, Gary?
No, I don't know. Go on.
Murali.
What did I say?
Muralai.
Oh, well, same thing.
So it's the male grooming product himself, Dick Weller, on 35, and Sadira on sabbatical from Blake 7. It certainly sounds that way. On 16, Sri Lanka have 55 without loss after 5 overs. They're going like a train, which is rather appropriate because it has an excellent railway service in Sri Lanka.
Good afternoon, everybody. I was listening earlier as you were wibbling and also doing some commentary from the United Arab Emirates, and I was listening to such drivel. I thought I'd better come in and improve the standard.
Add to the drivel.
Yeah. How are you, Nestlers? Haven't seen you for ages.
I'm fine, mate. How are you?
Yeah, shame you're wearing a Boston Red Sox cap. Can't stand them.
They're doing well.
Here's Tom Curran, very full, and Dick Weller push drives this without any great power to the man sweeping on the cover boundary.
My baseball hats don't really correlate to any knowledge of anything. It's just whether I like the look of them, because I've also got a Yankees hat.
Oh, you can't have a Yankees hat and a Red Sox hat.
I have.
Not having an Arsenal and a Tottenham hat.
I don't know, you see.
I've got the very dubious Cleveland Indians, because the first place I ever went to in America was Cleveland.
Yeah, with the smiling
Chief
Indian.
Wahoo.
Decent team, actually.
But aren't the Red Sox in the final of something at the moment?
Well, they're 2-1 up in the best of 7 semi-finals, you might say.
And then they're going to the World Series after this, do they?
If they win this series, yeah.
Sadira on strike to Tom Curran, who does a kind of moon ball there. He's channeling Arancha Sanchez Vicario, but the batsman can get it down to deep 3rd man, where Adil Rashid, who's been in the game quite a lot down there, returns the ball. They're through for 1, 57 without loss, Heinz varieties.
That's such a obscure reference.
Arancha Sanchez Vicario against Gabriela Sabatini at Roland Garros.
No, but it's just not sort of thing that probably, I don't know. I expect to come. I do expect it to come out of you, Gary. I suppose.
Here's Tom Curran again, and this is slashed high in the air. It's going to go to a man at long off who catches it wonderfully. Retreating Chris Wokes, what a good cricketer he is. He was running back from mid-off. He got about 3 parts of the way back to the long off boundary, and he caught it coming over his shoulder. England have the breakthrough. It's Dick Weller who's gone for a flashing 36 from 20, 57 for 1.
Mojo Jojo has just finished season 3 of Breaking Bad while it was raining. And Weiwei Pom says Nestlers and Gary are looking disturbingly like twins.
Really? I think so. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, was it those what were they called? Those twins in? Oh, I'm gonna have to find a picture.
Stadler from Waldorf, or whatever.
No, on a bike. Well, they weren't Siamese twins. They're 2 big American chaps.
On a bike?
Yeah, about the 30s. Anyway, carry on. That was a good catch by Works going over his shoulder, but he did bobble it, as we saw in the slow motion replay.
Yeah, they always do a little bit with
Well,
those.
but that actually bounced a good 3 or 4 inches out of his hands before he grabbed it again at the 2nd attempt. Very hard going. The best catch I can remember over one's shoulder was Mike Brearley in the 1979 World Cup final. In the last few overs, Andy Roberts launched one way out into the sky, and Brealey was running back. He wasn't renowned as an outfielder. He ran back about 30 yards towards the grandstand at Lord's and took it over his shoulder. Very good catch.
Yeah, in the 83 final, Capel Dev caught Viv Richards, I think, running back towards the boundary. Spectacular catch, turned the match. We had a number of turning points, and the new man is at the crease. He's a Mendes. There are plenty of them on the Teardrop Island. This time it's Kusal Mendes drafted into the side as Curran is in and bowls a bouncer well wide of off stump. He'll be lucky to get away with that, but he is lucky to get away with it. It's a decent over this from Tom Curran. 4 deliveries in it so far, and I think a wicket and not much in the way of runs. 2 runs.
And the new batsman's jingle is this one.
Mendes was a man who thought he was a keeper, so they played him as a number 3.
And he is in at 3, and he can only get this back to Tom Curran. No run.
Think a keeper needs to be. Get back, get back, get back to where you ought to bat. Get back, get back, get back to where you ought to bat.
So it's Curran T on his way in to bowl again. Right arm, unlike his brother, and slower ball again out the back of the hand, and just nudged down to the inevitable Adil Rashid, who'll be glad of a bowl actually because he'll be doing less work. They're through for a single. Sri Lanka are 58 for 1. A pretty good over from Tom Curran. Got 1 wicket, conceded just 3 runs.
I'm up to date on tweets. There are no tweets.
And you can tweet us at Gorilla Cricket. 1 R, 2 L's.
I don't know how many people are listening and how many people gave up earlier, given the state of things.
Put out a tweet, tell them we're on and the game's on.
We've done that. They know. They know. Those who know. And those who don't know.
Well, speaking of England's very busy third man, he now is in the game, and Fred, if you can find him, you can jingle him.
Rashid on the 45. Adil 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 can turn it both ways. Adil can turn it. Adil can turn it both ways. Adil can turn it. Adil can turn it both ways. Adil can turn it on the 45.
And that was, I think, the googly to get us going, but it was picked by Sadira, who just eased it into the leg side, square of the wicket, and they go through for a single. So a bit of a rebuilding period here for Sri Lanka. They went off like the inevitable steam train, but they've been set back a little bit by that over from Tom Curran. They're still, I think, in a good position. They're going at very nearly 10 and over.
And PJ Mead has found a picture of the Maguire twins, Fred. Wrestlers, apparently.
Right.
Wrestlers.
And blow it up and show it to Gary.
There's a picture there.
Thank you. So beats Kusal, and in fact bowls him with the googly. Well, it was hard to see that because the bails came off. I thought it was the keeper who took the bails off, but Adil Rashid has just done Kusal Mendes' first ball. He had absolutely no answer to a googly that went through an enormous gate. 59 for 2. My, the game changes quickly.
Or maybe not.
Oh, they're reviewing it.
Well, they are reviewing it because the umpires, like me, think there might have been a bit of glove involved from Joss Butler. If there is, then he really should be owning up to it because he should know, shouldn't he?
I don't really know. It did look a bit odd because it didn't look like the ball had the trajectory to hit the stumps. It looked like it was going wide of off stump. But
well, we're seeing it again now. It's obviously not a no ball.
You wouldn't in this, in the era where cameras capture everything, you wouldn't claim a wicket like this if it wasn't out, surely.
No, it's the googly. You see the back of the hand coming straight at you. Pitches, turns, and yes, it seems to hit the stumps there because we're seeing it again. Joss Butler's hands are very close to the stumps, but it's definitely the ball hitting the outside of the off stump. It's a lovely piece of bowling, and Adil Rashid again showing his value in these middle overs.
And Adam Stockwin says, "I know that you know that I know." He knows. does Adam Stockman.
Well, we know.
It's rather an inglorious return to the side by Kusal Mendes, who went out there and was gone first ball. Got a golden duck, as I believe they're called.
England look much better in the field when Rashid is bowling.
They do. If there is a weakness in this excellent ODI side that England have put together over the last couple of years, I think it is in the fielding. I think there's one or two fielders who are below scratch. Certainly Adil Rashid is one.
Yeah, well...
But he's there for his bowling primarily, and of course he is quite a useful late-order batsman as well, so he is worth his place. But you get the feeling you could get better at fielding with a bit more practice.
Well, I was going to say, fielding is something that you can improve, isn't it, through
I find you can get worse as well over the years.
As you get older, yeah.
Well, you should be able to.
Ground,
you should be able to, but there is a limit. I mean, you do need to have some natural ability to start with, to be, and modern one-day cricket especially does tend to expose people. It's amazing how often the ball follows the weakest fielder.
Hello, Alec Payton. Hi, fellas. Looking good on the
Talking of the weakest fielder, it's Alec Payton.
Looking good on the YouTube stream, he says.
Well, the captain's at the crease. Can you do what the Chandimal can?
We'll do it after this ball because it's a longer jingle, and hopefully he's still in after one ball.
Unlike his predecessor. So Rashid's in again and shows him the top spin and no run.
Unstoppable, except they suspended you, overrate value. In T20, you lost the captaincy.
Goes back to Chandimal and gets another googly from Rashid, who's dealing mainly with the wrong ones, so the deucers, and there is no run.
Who sung Candy Girl?
It was Bobby Brown, wasn't it?
Was it?
This ball is pushed into the covers by Chandimal, who's off the mark with a single. But it's Bobby Brown when he was in a band.
Yeah, they were like the sort of...
New edition.
Yeah, well done.
Like the Jacksons.
There was a terrific question. Guerrilla Cricket had two teams yesterday at the regular Night Watchman quiz at the Oval.
How did it go? Yeah.
And there was one magnificent cricket question, which I'm only telling you about because we got right, as I'll tell you after this ball.
Rashid's in, bowls the off leg break, and there is no run. It's the end of the over. Sri Lanka are 60 for 2, 7 gone.
The question was, and probably Nestle, it's going to be a bit unfair to throw this one at you because it's a little bit geeky. But an England bowler took 4 for 53 on his Test debut, 10 years after his brother took 4 for 53 on his Test debut.
Jesus wept. 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. Well, one brother did it and took 4 for 53 on his debut, and the other brother did it 10 years later. Who were those people? It's a very good question.
And we got it.
Well, we got it, yeah.
Yeah, Guerrilla Cricket.
Yeah, well, one of the Guerrilla teams did. The other one did.
Oh, I'm going to have a little think about that.
Well, just think about brothers who have played Test cricket for England. Meanwhile, there's been a bowling change, and this chap, who will do after his first ball, is coming on to bowl.
And he's in, and this is down the leg side, and it's clipped to the man at fine leg, and they're through for a single.
I wish my papa was a honest soul, that any granny comes to and makes it his own. I wish my papa's honest soul, then I'd have a claim of fame of my own.
It is Ollie Stone, and he's in again, and this ball is just deflected down to third man, where yet again Adil Rashid is in the game, just a single taken. I'll remind you this is a 21 over match due to an extended rain delay, so it's almost a 20-20 match, but played under 50 over conditions, 2 white balls and so on.
It's funny, when I came and sat here, Nestle boy said break off.
Stone's in, and this is slashed down yet again to Adil Rashid, and I think they'll have time for 2. Yes, they're through for 2.
He said, I'm taking the jingle chair and I'll be very busy, and there's not been a 4 or 6 since I sat down.
You're a bock.
It's not
top bocking.
It's not the Hollyoak brothers.
It's not the Hollyoake brothers, no. I mean, let's try and work out all the brothers who've played Test cricket.
I don't
for
think
England.
Eric Bedser played Test cricket.
No, I don't think he did either. Most people went for one or other of the Graces.
This ball is defended. That was a quick one from Ollie Stone there. He sent Chandimal onto his back foot and onto his toes, but he was in behind it, therefore no run.
But between David Brooke and I, we took a very strong educated guess, which turned out to be correct. And David Brooke is a little bit of a clue if you know about his cricket proclivities.
Right, so we're talking with the West Indian
This ball is pushed into the offside, and there is no run. Fielded at short extra. Better stuff here from Ollie Stone, who went round the park a bit in his first over. Just 4 from this so far.
David is a fan of one particular English
county.
I see.
Oh, okay.
And
is he?
That county produced these players, sort of.
I have no idea what.
No, Gary's looking increasingly perplexed.
I can't remember the county that he's.
He's a Sussex fan.
This ball is hit hard by Chandimal, driving a ball that was length rather than overly full, but just gets a single to the sweeper. So it's a decent comeback from Ollie Stone, just going, I think, for 3 from that over. Sri Lanka 65 for 2, 8 overs gone.
The Test debuts in question were in the early 70s and the early 80s.
Oh, it's the Gregg brothers.
It is the Gregg brothers, yes. Ian Gregg, who played a couple of Tests for England, wasn't known for his bowling particularly. Bit of a trundler, but took 4 wickets on his Test debut.
Wow.
So, for the same amount of runs as his brother did 10 years earlier.
Yes. Well, I was going to get it right because I was going down the list.
What, I've listed brothers who've played for England?
Yeah.
Oh,
here's Adil Rashid, and this ball is hit into the leg side off the back foot, and trying to get that clever 2 that Owen Morgan is particularly good at, where you hit it at the right pace to bring the man in from the boundary and giving you time to scuttle through 2. It was Ben Stokes who came in rather than Adil Rashid, and therefore they were down to just 1.
Well, Wei Wei Pom came close. Well, he got it, really. He said either the Bedser brothers or the Gregg brothers.
Right. Well, how many lists of brothers? I mean, we knew there were 3 Graces played.
Well, it was a list
hit
of
in
families.
the air over extra cover. There's always room there, and that's 4 to Sadira, the first boundary we've had for some time. It was another googly from Adil Rashid. He's bowled more googlies than leg breaks, I would suggest, so far. I wonder if he's having trouble gripping the ball for his leg break, because it's unusual to see him bowl quite as many googlies.
It's going to be wet, this ball.
It usually starts with one. You said the first ball was a googly, and it almost always is.
Yeah. Rashid's in again, and that was more a top spinner, I think, and it's just played to the captain, who's at short extra. Do you remember any other questions, Fred?
Yeah, I can remember the ones we got embarrassingly wrong, but cricket ones, maybe the bear can remember. Oh yes, there was one question which I got right.
Here's Rashid, who's advancing down the track, is Sadira, but he can do nothing with it, fielded at short extra.
The question was, which England off-spinner of the 60s and 70s lost 4 toes in a boating accident in the West Indies?
I think you would
and
know
a lot of people turned around and looked at me. I don't know why. There was some pointing going on.
Right.
Not Toad Titmus.
Yes.
And this is a horrible drag down from Adil Rashid, who's very lucky to get away with it, because Sadira went to cut it when really he should have been hitting it over mid-wicket. Anyway, he gets 1 to the man at backward point.
Sadira decided to dance way outside the leg stump before, when the bowler was in his run-up, and he confused himself.
Yeah.
And Rashid tried to do something different and pulled it down, as you say.
Yeah.
But so often batsmen confuse themselves.
Yeah, he's taken that that horrible long hop largely out of his repertoire these days. He's a much better bowler, and proves it by finishing off his over with a ball that Chandimal can do nothing other than get it to short extra. So it's the end of the over.
Stephen G. Brady says, Rashid, is that the lad that plays for the Dingles, Oop North?
Occasionally he does, yes.
Occasionally.
Have you got that list of English Test brothers?
No.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a list of brothers, it was families.
Okay, there were a few Hearns who played. I don't know if they were brothers or father and son.
But there's Ollie Stone, only this time pretending to be Jay out of the In-Betweeners doing an advert.
And PJ Mead has sent us in a YouTube video which you can't replay, can you? Because no one was in it.
The Hollyoak brothers played for England.
They did.
Other brothers.
Grace, were they?
Well, there were 3 Graces, yeah. One of them died young, but I think they may have all played in the first.
Fred died at 29. He was the first first Test cricketer to die.
It's a Christine Aguilera video for Candyman for Shandamal.
Here is Ben Stokes in. This is horribly wide of the off stump. Surely that'll be called. It is called. And the Sri Lankan score advances to 72.
I got out Ben Stokes and he called me a...
Oh, I always wince. It's always that...
Bilbo odds. What happened next in that jingle? So cut is this, but backward point there. It's Jason Roy in the Paul Collingwood position.
Well, he called me
a cut. Yeah.
If you got any more, you give us one more.
More cricket. There were there's only 4 rounds of 10 questions, and there was only about 4 cricket questions all the way through. So
it doesn't have to be cricket questions.
Well, you're looking for free questions for your quiz that you do.
I don't do it anymore.
Right. You were sacked. Axed. Naylor axed.
The next ball is cut, and again, Jason Roy is a tremendous fielder there at backward point. Does the Paul Collingwood work, and there is no run. So England have really put the choke on now. At one point, Sri Lanka were 55 without loss. In fact, after 5 overs.
Well, there's power plays. Plays.
In the last 4.2 overs, they've scored just 17 runs. Is it 17? 55 to 72? Yeah, 17 runs.
Knuckle is worried about Mendes' form. Average is only 14 this year. It's his 3rd consecutive ODI duck.
Here's Stokes in, and that's a horrible mow that resulted in an inside edge that went onto the hip, and then Joss Butler couldn't do much with it, and it goes down to 3rd man, and they get a... Oh, I thought there was an inside edge onto that, but evidently there wasn't, so it's leg buys. So Sri Lanka go to 74 now for 2.
The umpires look very smart in that black, don't you think?
The men in black.
I think they do.
There was
a bit Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy.
This ball is a bouncer, but not that much of a bouncer. And Chandimal got out of the way like it was Jeff Thompson standing on Dennis Lilly's shoulders.
Not Ricky Lee Jones.
Not Ricky Lee Jones.
No, because I wanted to use her song as a jingle for Sam Curran.
Chucky's in love.
Chucky's in love. Yeah.
Chucky. Yes.
Chucky.
I was thinking of Chuck Air, but Chuck E. Indeed.
Andy Ward's back. Are you looking for something to do? He's coming in for Gary.
That's fine with me.
Two-ball changeover.
So here is Ben Stokes, and he's in again, and that's on the stumps, and is clattered and misfielded, but it's a decent stop, I suppose, by, I suspect, Tom Curran under the hat there. No, it's Joe Root at mid-off, who's now grimacing.
Sean. Where's his hair gone?
He is Sean.
No,
and so
I'm here. Holy moly.
So it was driven, a bit of room there, got the arms free, hit it hard, but Root did the primary job, which is to stop the boundary. So at the end of this over, we are going to have a change.
Spangley Si's with us. Holy moly, I go for a meeting with it not looking like there'll be any play to happen. Come back, and joy of joys, the game started. It's a 21 over game, Spangley Si.
And here's Ben Stokes, and this ball is clipped into the leg side. There'll be another single. My 5 overs went for just 21 runs. If you want to cut the Sri Lankan scoring, bring me on to ball by ball.
Here's one for you, Fred, from Gordon Anderson. On the subject of brothers, name one pair who have played for different Test match nations. Dun, dun, dun. Gary, would you ask if there's anyone who'd like to come in and relieve me as well?
Brothers who've played for different...
Yeah.
Could give you one for football. Boateng brothers played for Nigeria and Germany.
He says name one pair who have played for different Test match nations.
Okay, we'll leave that with the listenership. What a day we've had today. We came in expecting 50 over cricket. We did half a day of Test cricket, and now we're doing half a day of T20.
It was a delight listening to you commentating on the Test match, Andy. I know how much you love it.
I actually quite enjoyed it, to be fair, this morning.
Well, it's different. It's like I like watching different cricket from different places because it gives you a completely different perspective.
Here comes Rashid, pushes forward out to cover, and there's no run. I guess when you heard this game was T20, you thought, well, I'll get down there then.
No, I mean, Hendo issued a desperate plea. I did even call it a come and get me plea, which you don't see very much in the newspapers anymore, but they used to be quite common.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Transfer, come and get me
Yeah,
plea.
it was FA Form 163K.
Reverse sweep there from Chandimal, and he's come and got that ball to the boundary because he's beaten short third man with a nice fine reverse sweep, and that's 4.
It's me, says she. It's me, says she.
But it's again one of those brilliant phrases that's only ever used in the context of football, of which there are so many.
Football gossip columns, really, and not even in actual news.
Like a transfer war chest.
The BBC have a football transfer page every day of the year, even though that you can only do transfers 2 months of the year.
Worked into the onside by Chandimal, and mid-on is a bit deep, so it's a comfortable single there. 82 for 2 in the 11th.
I've just been transferred in. So.
Are you?
You have a free transfer?
Yeah, I'm like a temporary transfer, like when there's like a
loan.
Someone's gone.
An emergency loan.
Yeah, I'm the fielder who comes on when someone's gone to the toilet. So
you're in for Liz Yates afternoon.
Rashid balls full down the track. He's hit it a long way. Yep, mid-on is up. Mid-wicket is wide to Ben Stokes. He's flapped an arm at it. It was a good effort, but he couldn't quite save the 4. I'm sure that hit the sponge, even though Tom Curran's hurled it in. So I'm pretty sure that was 4. Hand slaps all round anyway. It was a good effort, to be fair.
Yeah, he was almost at full length when he tried to slap it back with one hand.
Good footwork from the batsman, to be fair. Came down the wicket, got to the pitch of the ball.
And if he would have got a full hand on it, he probably would have prevented it.
Most of the parts of Ben Stokes before it bounced into the sponge.
Confirmed as a 4 by umpire Aleem Dar with his particularly black hair and beard. Not that I'm suggesting anything.
Well, many of those.
He's been at the Just for Men.
Many of those on display today. Yeah, on screen and off.
Oh, what beards?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Sadira, 30 off 29. He's trying to accelerate a little bit now. Plays that one out to deep point, and that'll be a single.
I thought you meant dyed beards.
Well, who knows?
I was wondering.
Who knows?
Yes. Knuckles really completely ginger, you know. He just dyes it very, very black. He's just bitten his back, this fellow. What's going on?
Is he reverse a free-D'ing?
What on earth did he do there? I'm sure we'll see a replay.
Took a big lump out, Rashid. That's a little bit shorter, and that's a googly, I'm pretty sure. Played between point and cover, and they'll pick up another single, 87 for 2 at the end of the 11th. But there are 10 overs to go, because yes, it's a 21-over game.
This new form of cricket. It will catch on.
The 126.
We've had loads of tweets about the brothers, but I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
Well, apparently there were 2 brothers who played for different
test countries.
Nations.
It's the Pattinsons, as we
had
people
of
telling
course
us.
It is. Of course it is. Yes.
Cheap Steve, obviously. Ed Benson shouted it probably.
Shout out to Ed Benson.
Yeah, love to shout out. Yeah, loads of people have said that.
How's Toronto, Ed? Let us know. Is it getting cold? Is it getting cold yet?
Just stick your head out of the window and let us know. Yeah.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's going to be a long, cold winter in the frozen north.
A bit nippy, yeah. Northern exposure.
Chris Paul says Lehman and Craig White are brothers-in-law.
Oh, brothers-in-law. Okay.
Stokes is back into the attack. Could use a little bit of Just for Men himself, and that one's clipped out towards mid-wicket, where Moeen Ali of the more fulsome beard throws in, and that's a single.
I would suggest, without any statistical backup, that the brothers-in-law who have totaled most runs in Test cricket between them would be Sunny Gavaskar and Gundappa Vishwanath.
They've got to be up there.
If anyone's got any better suggestions, please do let us know.
Someone let us know. Yes.
And they were barely 10 feet between the 2 of them.
That's right. Barely a Ben Stokes standing on each other's shoulders. Short ball from Stokes, which might be over the head of Sunny Gavaskar or Vishwanath.
Standing on each other's shoulders.
Standing on each other's shoulders, but it's also over the head of Sadira, and it is a wide. Wide.
Yeah, brothers-in-law.
I'm sure there's at least one set of famous cricket brothers-in-law.
There are. I'm just think now. I think in Australian cricket there was some brothers-in-law. It'll come to me shortly.
Stokes comes in to Sadira. Sadira's down the track but smears it up to mid-on. That was a rather ugly. Mid-on's on the back of the circle by now. That's a comfortable single. 90 for 2 in the 12th over. Stokes again, liberal use of the towel, as you can imagine, although the outfield still seems fairly quick to me.
The grandfather of the Chappell brothers played Test cricket, so there's a grandfather and at least 2, probably 3 grandsons who played for Australia.
Were there 3 generations of Cowdreys in Test cricket, or only 2?
There were 2.
And 1 just barely.
Yeah, yeah.
Stokes in again. Punched out into the offside by Chandimal. It's straight to Owen Morgan, so I shouldn't think there'd be a run, and I don't think there is.
Between the 2 Cowdreys, they had sort of good average careers, but one of them played about one match and didn't do very much. Yeah, there is in lots of sports they have, you know, sort of the bloodlines where people have got a better chance of playing professional sport because of their parents and or grandparents.
Well, the stat is the stat is from a sport I know is close to your heart, baseball.
Yes.
It's not if your father Stokes comes in, smeared again into the leg side, fielded by Moen, shy at the stumps, but the batsman's home. It's another single. But I was going to say, in baseball, if your father was a professional baseball player, you are 9 times more likely to also become one than the average person.
The question is whether that's because they're more skilled or because
I'm sure it's because they're exposed to. First of all, they have a model that shows them they can do it. They have a role model that shows them they can do it. And they probably have expert coaching from the age of 3.
Well, yeah, and also because they're more likely to draft players with if their parents were good players. They're more likely to get drafted.
What a career Jordi Cruyff had.
Yeah, well, you know, that's true. I mean, and Len Hutton's son was a good county player for years, actually, a bowler. Richard Hutton played for England a few times, but was nothing like Len Hutton, his father.
Wasn't the Hutton who played for Middlesex also?
Ben Hutton was was a grandson.
Played out to deep cover for a single by Sadira, I think. It's 92 for 2 in the 12th.
Are you talking about that question last night?
We did mention that question. Yeah, we're going into other relatives in cricket.
PJ Mead says Sussex brothers, Alan and Colin Wells, both played for England in ODIs. Colin had 1 test. He saw Alan's only ODI at Lords in 1995. He made 15 after Atherton scored a fabulous ton against the Wendy's.
Okay. I remember the Wells brothers. There were twin brothers who played county games, county championship in the 70s. The Taylors, I think one played for Hampshire and one played for Somerset.
We've got the Overtons, haven't we? They're twins, aren't they? That one's flayed at by Chandimal outside the off stump. He misses it. 2 overs for 8 from Stokes. He's done well so far. 92 for 2.
Because I remember a picture by Patrick Eager of one of them bowling and the other one standing at the non-strikers end, looking as identical twins are prone to do, exactly the same. But they played on opposite teams. The Overtons play in the same side.
Are they twins or just regular brothers?
No, I'm pretty sure they're twins. Regular brothers.
Well, what is the PC term for non-twins now?
Brothers. Yeah. Twins who played cricket. Well, the Wars, obviously, were twins.
Yes, clearly, yeah.
But very different in... very much non-identical.
Very different, yes.
Different in temperament, different in looks and everything else.
Rashid continues, 3 overs, 1 for 19. Of course, he can bowl 5 today, as Nakul said. That was driven to point. Point has got a hand on it, pushed it out towards deep cover. Who's a little bit... Bairstow probably was running in the wrong direction. The keeper misses it. Wokes dives round. Almost everybody had a touch of that one, but it ends up being 2.
It's like when you lob the ball back round the field to give everyone a touch, but this time the ball was in play.
Or in time cricket, when you're trying to delay bowling another over before 5 o'clock, and I'm standing there going...
That's the best sort of cricket. The best sort of cricket.
On a Saturday afternoon in bloody May.
Big full toss from Rashid. That could be out.
It's not going to be out. That must be a no ball,
it's only on his knee. It's only knee high, I'm sure.
Really?
Because it's dipped down. It's the only slow bowler. And Sadira... that was just a comical piece of cricket, really.
Shit takes wickets, boys.
Sure
always has. Always will.
This is aimed at the bowler. Well, he was on the kneeling down on the sweep, so even though it probably was waist height, but his waist was much lower than it ought to have been.
Yeah, you should be upset with yourself. That was shit. Nick Martin says, hasn't a Marsh just been made Australian vice captain on the basis of his heritage? They certainly aren't scoring any runs at the moment.
Yeah.
That was what they said, yes. Which is, possibly could have used a better choice of words. Anyway, Samira has gone for 35 off 34, which is a bit neither here nor there, really, in what's effectively a 20-over game.
And he went off like a bullet, though, didn't he?
He did go off quite quickly, and then seemed to struggle a little bit with the slower bowlers. Went off quite quickly off poor old Ollie Stone, who's having a difficult second match.
Difficult third.
Well, third, but he didn't do anything in the first. So who's going to be the new batsman? Any guesses?
Might be Mendes.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see. Meanwhile, we're having some adverts.
Is that Mendes? That Kusal Mendes?
A coffee machine.
Didn't
Is it a
come
coffee
early?
machine? No, it's not a coffee. Yes, it is a coffee. Maybe we should get a coffee machine in here.
Well, we could always display it in front of the camera. We were shocked, I tell you, shocked to see product placement on the BBC.
On the
earlier.
BBC. Well, you know they got rid of it, don't you?
Well, so you said
we sent them a tweet, and then we've taken a screenshot. They've got rid of the Costa Cup.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of the unique way that the BBC is funded.
Funded, yeah.
Well, it's this chap who's come into bat.
Certainly is unique. Oh, it's Faith No More.
Yeah.
And he's hit with the first ball miles up in the air from out of nowhere, as Faith No More would say. And he's been caught. It's an excellent catch. Jason Roy came out of nowhere to take that. No, it's Josh Butler, I think. Or is it Roy? No, it's Jason Roy. I'm only wrong when I was right the first time, and I say I was wrong, and then I wasn't.
And he's gone.
Jason Roy looks...
That's my kind of innings. You come in, hit the first ball miles up in the air, and then walk off. Thank you very much.
No, I'll tell you, it's even better than that. You come into the sound of Faith No More, hit the first ball miles up in the air, and go out to the ignominious sound of ABBA. Does Jason Roy look a little bit pudgy there? Or am I being a bit harsh?
He's quite built, isn't he?
The camera adds 40 pounds.
Yeah. Well, exactly. We've got about 4 cameras trained on us.
He's
right
probably
now.
got a 6-pack now, hasn't he? They all have.
They should be sweating buckets, isn't it? Very humid out there.
I imagine so.
Sweating bullets, yes. And hey, Adil Rashid is on a hat-trick.
Well, it would be an interesting hat-trick in terms of it wouldn't make its way into his own personal highlight reel.
No, it's still going to be better than the worst hat-trick ever, which was Stephen Finn's last 2 balls of the innings.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
he had a million runs.
But I think they were better balls, though, than these two have been, to be fair.
I don't think that one was too bad, and the batsman just had a run at it, first ball, and hit it straight up in the air.
Well,
we've had this question before, and I still can't remember the answer. Which father and son have been involved in a first-class tied match?
Don't know.
There aren't that many fathers and sons who
played in the same game, and it was a tie.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it's a test because...
No, first class. He says first class tied match.
First class tied matches.
Give us a clue, Gordon. Come on.
The teams involved, possibly? Were they on the same team or opposing teams?
Period.
Anyway, Rashid's hat-trick ball. There's no one round the wicket. Why not? And they've gone for something, but I'm sure that's off the bat. It's an inside edge skewed out to square leg.
I think Butler went up for
single.
He went up for LBW, didn't he? But I think it was off the face of the bat.
I don't think you could go up for anything else, but even so, and it is indeed a run off the bat.
The new batsman is this chap. Der Kommissar.
Der Kommissar. Who was that? It wasn't Falco, was it?
No. Could have been. It could have been.
It's not impossible. Rashid comes in again. Nice ball, defended by Dhananjaya, and there is no run. 1 ball left to Rashid's spell. 3 for 22, but no, because he can bowl the extra over if they decide.
Well, anybody can, so we don't know. We're not going to know till the 3rd over from the end who's going to bowl the extra one.
Unless Rashid bowls the next one.
Oh, that's true, yeah. But we need not know. Der Kommissar was by...
Oh, a beautiful
Falco.
leg break. Oh, yes, another score, another one for me. As another excellent leg break from Rashid, turns past the bat. There's no run. Sri Lanka are 95 for 4, and this game seems more in the balance than it was after 4 overs.
Well, you should get Falco answers because of your great hero, Mark
legendary
Falco.
QPR striker Mark Falco, who I will maintain until my grave, is the finest volleyer of a ball football has ever seen. Screw you, Mark Hughes.
Screw you, Marco van Basten. Dennis Burkamp and a load of other people.
And
Eric Cantona.
Because they weren't carrying an extra 2 stone, which just makes them even better.
Well, he had a lower centre of gravity.
Don't make me put the clips on YouTube again.
No.
Like I did to Chris Dealey of this parish, who still wasn't having it.
What was that?
Youth of today. Mark Falco was the greatest volleyer of a ball ever.
Oh.
Scored some amazing volley goals, not just for QPR either. A couple of good ones for Spurs. Ollie Stone going back into the attack. Another short ball over the batsman's shoulder. It looked quite high.
Yeah, it's given.
It's a wide.
The brothers.
Yeah, have you got any
The
answers
brothers,
on Twitter?
yes. Very
the father and son.
Modern?
The father and son?
Yes. Definitely within our time period. Not English.
Not English, okay. That one is clipped down to point by Chandimal, and there is no run.
Not English. Modern father and
English
son.
Father and son.
Not English. One of them definitely played Test cricket. Scored an awful lot of Test runs, in fact. Maybe no. Yeah.
Is it Jeff Marsh?
No.
Oh, is he the uncle, isn't he?
No, he's still Sean Marsh's father, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Stone comes in again.
DNA tester in.
That one's played out to cover for no run, to make sure he has that heritage.
Yes, before they appointed him vice captain.
If the DNA test comes out false and it was the milkman, they'll have to strip him of that role.
I'm trying to think how I can give you a clue without giving it away.
Well, Asian or not?
No, not Asian.
Not Asian, okay. That gives
Australasian?
Not Australasian.
But yet not... So West Indies then we're talking about.
Yeah.
West Indies father and son.
Played in a first-class tied match. No, I didn't know this.
Chanderpaul.
Well done, sir.
Oh yeah, Chanderpaul's got a son.
There's a dot ball there to Chandimal.
Who's got a ridiculous name, isn't he?
Yeah, well, Chanderpaul for a start.
Oh, you're just being very colonialist attitude there, Andy.
More ridiculous than Shiv Narayan Chanderpaul.
I think it is, yes. And what is Chanderpaul's son's name?
Don't say Chanderpaul. Way indeed. Graphics seem completely wrong. Stone again, cut away fiercely by Chandimal out to deep point. There's no run. Sri Lanka are 4 down, but the graphics seem to be suggesting that number 9 was coming in next, unless they've rejigged the order.
There's a conversation going on.
Oh yes, he's called Tagenarine Chanderpaul, or Tangerine, as it's very easy to mispronounce.
Chandimal, 17 off 24, has also struggled a bit through these middle overs. You might call them the boring middle overs, appropriately enough for a bowler called
They went
Stone.
on 10 and over for the first 4 overs, didn't they?
They certainly did. Can you guess my obscure reference there?
What? No.
Father Stone from Father Ted. Plays a pull shot. It's gone over the stumps. I think it's gone underneath Butler, but he's got some kind of thigh being kind on it. Throws it in the other batsman, non-striker. Was a bit late in cottoning onto there being a run there, and he had to put a shift on in the end. But they got through for what I imagine is a bye.
They don't play with Zing Bales in Sri Lanka. Why not?
Well, Zing
it's
Bales,
not a T20. It's an ODI.
I thought they play with them in ODIs now.
Do they?
Yeah.
Zing Bales literally only cost 20 quid. I mean, the stumps cost a fortune.
Yeah, somebody bought them for our club.
Yeah, you could
and
get
they
them,
mysteriously vanished into the boot of my car, where they've remained ever since. If you're listening, Raj, that's where they went.
Tony B's got in touch. Tony Bishop says, "Guten Abend from Frankfurt, chaps. Andy, Mark Falco had a couple of seasons at Watford and was very useful indeed," he says.
Yes, that's right.
Also
played for Glasgow Rangers and Millwall. Edged into his foot rather by Dhananjaya. Point comes in and there is no run. That's the end of the over. 99 for 4 off 14. They are 2/3 of the way through the innings, which you can't really be. Well, you can after 13.4 overs, but anyway.
Yeah. And Dhananjaya's not got off the mark off 4 balls, which is not really what you want when you've come in 2/3 of the way through a T21.
Yeah, T21. Are we calling it a pontoon?
No.
You can't go over 21, you bust.
Yeah, 2 first balls in this innings. Both those Rashid wickets were first ballers for Kusal Mendes and Tisara Pereira.
Yeah, and he's picked up 3, so he probably will get the 5th over.
He'd be first in line for it, the rare 5th over.
Somebody else is back, and still seems to have been hidden in strange places.
England ODI.
No, but there was a bunch somewhere else.
England
Was
others,
it?
probably.
Those are the obvious ones. Let's look in extras. No, not
He's just in the England ones.
Shush. Talk about stuff that you're talking about.
Can I keep talking about Mark Falco then?
Yes,
Mark Falco.
back to Mark Falco.
All I remember is Falco. Well, I remember that song. What did he do?
Rock Me Amadeus.
Rock Me Amadeus,
Amadeus.
that's right.
Here comes Chris Wokes. It's a full ball driven into the ground, no crowd catch, into the ground from Chandimal, back to the bowler, and there's no run.
Obviously, they're in boundaries Mog. And here's Chris Wokes.
Todd Wokes up this morning, said, man, we are screwed.
No wonder I've never heard this one.
Another nightclub incident, we've been forced to turn to you. We cannot select Stokesy, we need somebody who can hold their booze.
Big hack there from Chandimal. It goes down deep backward square. Fielder is down. Good pick up by Ben Stokes. He throws it to Adil Rashid, who throws it to the keeper. Good bit of team fielding there, and I think that's 2. Ben Stokes hearing himself mentioned in that jingle. Want to get involved?
Yeah, this folder has 3 Chris Wokes jingles and the other Moeen Ali one. They're just hidden there for no apparent reason.
Worth knowing.
Now, Nagul is sending in producer notes as well. You played a Keeler Dhananjaya's jingle instead of Dhananjaya De Silva's.
Oh no!
What a mistake to
wrong
make.
Dhananjaya.
But
it
he
was the wrong Dhananjaya.
He also posits Mark Butcher was married to Alex Stewart's sister, but the marriage broke up.
Right. Yeah.
And Nathan Astle
dear.
and Craig McMillan married a pair of sisters.
That one's clubbed out towards cover. Diving piece of fielding by Morgan. They're through for a single. Chandimal on to 20. Dhananjaya still on 0. 102 for 4.
That's a good point. When we work out the records of brothers-in-law in Test cricket, we have to find out when they were married, and if the marriage broke down, then they're no longer brothers-in-law. It doesn't count. We need to get Andy Zaltzman onto this.
Well, if you've married a pair of sisters, then you're double brothers-in-law.
Well, unless one of them gets divorced, and then you're not brothers-in-law anymore.
Yes, you are.
No, not brothers
Because
marrying 2 sisters. I'm just random people marrying 2
two brothers marrying 2 sisters.
No, but that's not what he said. He just said two Test players marrying 2 sisters.
No. I think he said they married the same sisters.
No, Nathan Astle and Craig McMahon married a pair of sisters. So
yeah, they.
Yeah, but Nathan Astle.
Oh,
and Craig
they're not
McMillan,
brothers.
They're not brothers, are
okay. Back to your regular program.
Yes.
That's a single on Dhananjaya.
This is how relatives work, Andy.
This is how Dhananjaya finally gets off the mark with a single. That inning was more painful than my understanding of brothers-in-law. He did make it home, although it was a shy at the stumps.
But they remain brothers in arms.
Brothers in Arms. Oh, don't. The worst album ever.
Not the worst album.
Not the worst album ever.
Not the worst album.
Probably just because at the time it came out, people
was
used
everywhere.
to put it on. It was everywhere.
Well, they played it because it was good. That's why they played it.
Yeah, I found it rather tedious. Anyway, Chandimal hacks that one out into the wide open space. That's 4 that time.
No, that is
No,
well,
4.
it is now.
That's 12.
Stokes wanted to punch the sponge there.
Yeah, punch the sponge. It's talk sport. Punch talk sport.
Stupid sponge.
And break his wrist punching the TalkSport sponge. That would be quite funny.
Well, to give you an idea of what happened there, I'm still not quite sure. Stokes fumbled it, looked like he was going to pull it back, fumbled it again, then it hit the sponge, and then Stokes turned round like he wanted to smash the sponge for being so impertinent or possibly homophobic, allegedly.
What?
That was what he was. That was his claim after the incident. That he.
Okay.
Gary's going to come in. Someone's going to go.
I'm going to go. I've been here for longest.
So we're all going to move, shuffle to the right, and Gary's going to replace me.
Half a chance there, but no, it's one bounce to mid-off. We're all going to just circle.
Yeah, which you go that way.
Okay.
You go come in here. And
that is the end of the over. It's 107 for 4.
I'll just keep talking while you move chair. I'll read out Dr. Katie Scott's tweet. I wonder how many people like me listened to the BBC's Cricket Social during the rain break and then switched over to Guerrilla Cricket for ball by ball once play restarted. That's because they're not doing any.
No, wait, I know what I meant now. I meant that marrying 2 sisters is different from your teammate marrying your sister. That's a slightly more removed form of brother-in-law.
Yes, that's true.
Now, that's what I meant.
Okay. We'll believe you. Thousands wouldn't.
Digging upwards.
Dig that hole. Dig that hole. Yeah, they went off like a train, Sri Lanka, and they've been reined right back in. There's only 5 overs left now, and only 107 for 4. Stokes is in, and Dhananjaya shoves it out into the. Oh wow! He just played it out into the offside towards cover. Set off for a run. Stokes went and hunted it down. Chandimal just didn't move out of his crease. He gave up going back down and Jaya, but Stokes didn't take his time to throw out the stumps and missed them. And so he got back, and then they got a buzzer.
One of these. Quite enjoying that one.
Yeah. It's Metallica, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Anthrax?
Anyway. I think perhaps Mod can let us know. I don't recognise it, to be honest.
Katie Scott says 2 of the old Durham regulars were brothers-in-law. Maybe Phil Mustard and Mark Stoneman, or Rushworth. I'm not sure.
Not quite sure.
Ravi Nair says, does this match have a reserve day?
No,
Sri Lanka
it doesn't, no.
arrange for the matches without reserve days to have the worst weather? No wonder Jayasuriya is under investigation.
Defended back to Stokes this time and there's no run. Yeah, what's going on with... there was a team called Free Jayasuriya last night. What's going on with Jayasuriya? Apparently he tried to hide some evidence or something. Is that the case?
First I've heard of it.
He's being investigated for something. I'm not quite sure what. You'd have to sort of look at the specialist press, I think, for
was
that.
he in Parliament as well?
He was an MP for a while. I don't know whether he still is.
Because De Silva's... Aravinda De Silva? He was also a politician, wasn't he? That's a slower ball. Dips on Chandimal as it reaches him, but he plays it up to mid-on. They get through for a single.
Wasn't aware of that, but you may be right there.
I'm sure one of the other openers from that 96.
Oh, hang on, Jayasuriya, you said, not Jayawardena.
Yeah, no, Jayasuriya.
Jayasuriya, yes, he was a politician, yeah.
Yes, and there's another one of the openers from that period.
Kalawatarana was the other one.
Okay.
He was the other opener.
Who was number 3? Who was the chubby one?
Ranatunga.
Ranatunga. Didn't he become a politician?
Yeah, he might have done.
Definitely, I think it's him. Stokes out to the crease, bowls, slower ball. Well, it's not really a bouncer. I think it was intended as a slow ball bouncer, but it just died in the pitch and just lolloped over the stumps. Dhananjaya threw the bat, it missed it completely. Smiles, looking down at Stokes, and there was no run. One dot, good over.
Yeah, I think Stokes is showing a bit more nous than Stone. I mean, as you would expect, he's managed to sort of mix up his pace and bang the ball in and get it to loop up.
This is it. What variations does Stone have? I imagine he does if he plays short form cricket. Everyone has variations now. It's another slower ball, cutter. And again, almost a replay. Dhananjaya gives it a big heave home, misses it completely, and through to the keeper, no run.
So the first 55 runs took 5 overs, and the next 54 runs are 1 ball short of taking 11 overs.
I know.
Extraordinary difference.
It is indeed. I think I was looking at Knucklesense and notes through last night. The average first inning score here, even an ODI, is only about 230, 220. I mean, the high scores are always massively OTT. I think 360 was the highest score. That's played up to mid-on, and there's no run. But I imagine it depends massively on the time of year you play in Sri Lanka. When it's dry and there's no humidity, you can probably blaze around, and when it's like this and there's rain everywhere, it's probably quite tricky, I'd imagine.
Well, they were saying on Sky that they had pulled the boundaries in a little bit because of all the outfield was so wet. For some reason, I'm not quite sure why that follows, but that's what they'd done anyway.
Yeah, they sweep the water to the edge of the
that does make sense.
Ground, because it's not got the kind of sophisticated drainage that we find at so many British grounds or English grounds these days. So yeah, I noticed earlier on when the camera panned that the boundary is a good sort of 20 metres in.
Yeah,
in places.
I mean, it's a proper T20 boundary as well, so being almost a T21 supplanted into an ODI.
Yep, it's a change of bowling.
Top cat, the most effectual top cat, who's intellectual, close friends get to call him TC.
Pulled out the delivery so we could finish the jingle.
I think he did. Cricket in View says umpire Ross Emerson, who called Murray for throwing in an ODI in 1996 and then again in 1999, and Terry Alderman were brothers-in-law. LBW Bold Alderman. And Jeff Perkins says on Jayasuriya that has been accused of failing to respond to requests for information by the anti-corruption unit looking at a match played when he was on the board.
Okay. Slower ball thrashed, badly timed. Tim Curran gets a wicket with his first ball of his new spell. 2 for 10. He's on. It dropped in short. Slower ball, probably a cutter. Dhananjaya went to heave it over the leg side, mistimed it, caught easily by Roy at mid-on inside the circle. He's gone. It was actually the ball out the back of the hand that he disguises so well, and Dhananjaya saw they got 3 of 10 balls.
Yes,
that's
not
a lot of good,
helpful.
in a T20 situation. No. That's not helpful at all.
He's bowled very well, Tom Curran. Really well.
England, after the openers, who both took quite a bit of a pounding, have all bowled well. Stokes, Curran, and the 2 spinners. Yeah.
Cricketing View says, brothers-in-law who played for different test teams. Did you guys get Craig White and Darren Lehman?
That was how we started on brothers-in-law, actually. Yes. Yep.
I know those 2 were brothers-in-law.
Yes. Yep.
Diana Patterson says, now that we have the vegan and near-vegan on, by the way, a more pompous discussion this morning I couldn't imagine.
I shouldn't think that was to everybody's taste, no.
What ideas have you for a vegan cricket ball?
That's a tough one, actually. We would love them to find some kind of
fake leather, surely.
Some
PVC,
substitute. Pleather, I don't know.
PVC.
By
the way, I think there's a difference, is there? Although this might itself be pompous, there's a difference between presenting an alternative view and being pompous. I don't think at any point we were judging anybody if they choose to eat meat.
Didn't intend to, but you were listening.
I eat meat, for fuck's sake. Jesus, I'm a total carnivore. I like nothing better than a huge barbecue.
Can you eat 60 pounds of meat at one sitting?
No.
You're not a carnivore then. Because that's what carnivores can do, eat 30% of their body weight at one sitting.
Okay, I'm an omnivore then, but I love meat and I eat meat with virtually every meal I have. If it's not meat, it's fish. I hate vegetables. That's clipped out to be wicked.
How is that diabetes coming along?
Yeah, not very well.
Jeff Perkins says, poor tactical decision to take that wicket.
Yeah, possibly.
Well, it's always the case, isn't it, in a T20? They always keep the man out, he's going slowly. I mean, he might have clipped a couple of sixes at some point.
Josh Holland says, 2 times caught Roy and 2 times caught Wokes. Have these 2 painted targets on their faces or something?
Starting to be in the right place at the right time. Chandimal is going to face up as Tom Curran continues into his 3rd ball is over, I believe. He's up to the crease, bowls, and Chandimal tries to clip it into the leg side. It hits his thigh pad, bowls up in the air. Tom Curran comes to field off his own bowling, and there's no run.
Speaking of meat, Jeff Perkins says, when are you expecting your braai to arrive from SA Gorilla?
Well, I was having a chat with our man Simon Gear. I said, well, you know, you guys, it looks like we've all got, beer stocked. But you guys sound like, having a nice barbecue out the back while they're doing the show. Sounds rather nice,
You've got a bit of space out the back.
Yeah, it's not my space though, is it? I can't go out there.
With that statue of the pig out there that I keep thinking is real, it's very realistic.
It's quite realistic from a distance, yeah. Tom Curran's moving his field.
Weiwei Palm says, Gary looks so underfed. He looks like he could do with a good steak dinner to build him up. I should be so lucky.
1-1-1 for 5. Here comes Tom Curran, 4th ball of the over. It's full pace this time, and it's just played out through a vacant cover. And extra cover comes around field outside the circle, and there's 1 run.
New batsman, Shanaka. There he is.
Came here from Sri Lanka as an all-round devotee. He bowled okay, but with the bat he averaged less than 3. Dasan Shanaka, we'll have to wait and see if he's good enough to play internationally.
If he has we're talking about swords early on. If he had a sword, it would be the sword of Shanaka. That's a very obscure, nerdy joke.
That sounds
the
familiar.
Sword of Shannara.
What's that from?
It's a fantasy book series.
Oh, right, okay. Never read that one.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It sounded like it could be, one of the kids' cartoons that they endlessly watch. Slower ball again from Tom Curran, and Shanaka works into the leg side uppishly, but obviously it's got a T20 field. There's no one really inside the circle in front of leg on the square side, on the onside, sorry, and square leg has to field it. They get a single. Yeah, that's full pace.
Cricket in View says Ghulam Ahmed, the Indian off-spinner in the 1950s, was the uncle of Asif Iqbal of Kent and Pakistan.
Oh, that's quite an unusual one, yes. Curran's going to complete this over. Sorry, you're on ball by ball.
I am indeed, yeah, thanks for that, Andy. All that slipped out the back of his hand. It was another attempted slow ball. But Chandimal can hit it straight out to the man sweeping on the cover boundary. Was that Bairstow? Bairstow out there.
And Katie Scott says, ooh, if we're talking vegan veggie food, I made cheese from cruelty-free milk the other week. It was very yummy. I had no idea cheese making was so easy. I don't think it is easy, but Katie begs to differ. Nick Martin says, great news for fans of Paul Sterling, who is going to be playing for Paarl Rocks in the upcoming Mzansi Super League, which, believe it or not, is a T20 tournament.
Mzansi Super League, where the hell is that?
I'm going to guess Zimbabwe.
It's Mzansi is M-Z-A-N-S-I.
Oh no, isn't that that's what they call the South African one?
Oh, is that going ahead now then?
Yes, and that's the name of it. I think so. Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
What was it? What did they have?
It was called the Global T20 League that didn't get going for whatever reason.
But didn't they also have something else, didn't they?
They had the Ram Slam before that.
That's it, the Ram Slam, that's what I meant. Slower ball by Stokes as he starts his next over. And it's pulled out to deep mid wicket. There's a fielder out there, and they just get the single, 115 for 5.
They seem to be having a problem getting a proper franchise T20 competition together. Imagine that.
Yes. I mean, it doesn't work everywhere, does it, you know?
Well, we could at least try it.
Well, we got one that's reasonably successful.
It's not franchise,
It's
though.
not franchise, I suppose.
There are too many teams.
Too many teams.
It's the Ram Jam band, not the Ram Slam band.
Black Betty.
Oh, Bamba Lamba.
Another short ball, this time full pace from Stokes, and Shanaka can mistime it only out to Bairstow at deep mid wicket, and he gets himself another easy single.
A very Ravinair tweet says, this is why vegans can't be trusted. Carnivores can eat 30% of their body weight at one sitting. Utter rubbish. Some carnivora do that, but carnivores, all cetaceans are carnivores, for instance, don't. Meerkats are carnivora and eat arthropods. Not entirely sure I understand all of that, but that's Ravi.
Bugs, I suppose. Stokes in, slower ball. Jags bit back into Chandimal off the wicket, and he just worked it out to deep backward square leg, and it's another single.
I thought arthropods were snails. Maybe wrong.
No, name mollusky type things. Don't have a backbone. I can't remember. It's what disappears from your brain as you get older, that kind of...
Cricketing View here is kind of tracing the ancestry of the Romanov family if they were cricketers. He says, Ghulam Ahmed, Indian off-spinner of the 50s. Asif Iqbal, Pakistani batsman of the 70s. Ahmed's nephew. Sania Mirza, Indian tennis player of 21st century. Ahmed's grand-niece.
Oh, that would have been a wide, and instead Shanaka slammed it just wide of the man at cover. It was Owen Morgan, the captain, who dived to his left and stuck out a paw and stopped it, and they didn't get the single.
And of course Shoaib Malik, who is current Pakistan batsman, who is married to Sania Mirza.
That's like, what's that programme on BBC?
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are, yeah. Stokes is in, 5th ball of the over. Another slower ball, short ball. This time he's got hold of it. Has he got hold of it? No, he has definitely got hold of it enough. Shanaka finally gets hold of one. It goes sailing over the mid-wicket boundary for 6 runs.
Jeff Perkins says, Mzansi is Hosa for South Africa. It is apparently a name they can all be proud of.
Okay. That was a good shot. It was just a stand up and hit me ball, wasn't it? But this time he timed it.
Hit me. Hit me.
Yeah, straight out the middle of the bat. Last ball of the over. It's full, driven out to the man sweeping on the cover boundary. Who was that out there?
Johnny Bairstow.
No, Wokes is out in the mid wicket. And he's out
Johnny
in the cover
Bairstow.
for the.
Hit me.
Johnny Bairstow.
Hit me.
It was Wokes, I think.
What film am I referencing between Hit Me?
Rain Man.
Rain Man, yes.
Is he? Well, it wasn't the one I was referencing.
Well, you're doing a perfect like impression of him.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman.
It was Danny DeVito in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest when they're playing cards. So.
Okay.
Ravinair says, and describing fake milk as cruelty-free is not vegans being judgmental? Question mark. Well, first of all, we didn't do it.
No, we didn't do it, and I'm not sure what Katie was referring to exactly. No. So you'd have to.
Yeah,
ask
I was
her.
wondering about that. Cruelty-free milk. Does she mean milk from a free-range cow?
That's what I
volunteered. It's milk.
Assumed. Yeah.
But then, vegans don't eat dairy, do they?
It's just also a matter of fact rather than judgment that there is cruelty involved in the production of milk.
And I don't think Katie mentioned the word vegan either. So.
Yeah, she did. She did. Yeah.
Well, she only said speaking of vegan. She didn't say her cruelty-free milk was vegan.
No, that's true. If we're going to get semantic about it, right across his stumps.
Well,
that's a good shot.
You started it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was just positing the question: can you have cruelty-free meat? And I don't think vegans
anyway
did dairy. Yeah, that's 6 runs.
2, 4, 6.
That's a good shot. Actually, he's got right across his stumps.
To be fair to Katie, she's already answered it. It's not fake milk. It is cow's milk from a high welfare farm.
There you go. So that last shot, he got right across the stump, down on one knee, and hoiked it over the man on 45 because he knew no one was back there, and he got himself 6th. This time, Adil Rashid throws it out wider outside the off stump, and Shanaka drives it out to the man, sweeping on the cover boundary, and they get through for a single.
Mayank says, just here to say Stokes is bowling full toss trash in the 18th over.
Well, he's getting away with it, though. So that was a full toss wide he got away with. Well, Rashid, meanwhile, is saying, stupid 5th over. This is going to ruin my figures.
Yes. He's got 4 balls left. Get another wicket. Throws that one up. It's driven hard, straight back past him. Good bit of fielding down there by Tom Curran at long off. Hit like a bullet, but he got across, slid and stopped it. Dropped it behind him, and still managed to recover. They got back for 2. Janawal moves on 31 off 37. Shanaka's 17 off 8. I thought you were going to say something there, Gary.
No, this looks under par from Sri Lanka unless they can really pull
30
runs from somewhere.
2 overs and 3 balls to go. Rashid, 4th ball of his over. He's in. It's a reverse hit. Behind square on the offside. To the normal right hand, it was a reverse hit. Johnny B's out there and fields it. A backward point.
I don't know why you go
a single. 1, 3, 4 for 5.
Why'd you go to all that trouble of turning round and all of that when you're hitting it straight to a man who's there anyway?
Oh yeah, I know. It does seem a lot of effort, doesn't it? Just feel more comfortable doing it, I guess. Adil Rashid, 5th ball of the over. He's up, floats that one up well outside off stump. It died in the pitch. Hoiked back over his head though, straight down the ground by Shanaka. He gets 4 runs, 21 off 9. He's absolutely putting something out. It's a rotten ball.
Piece of cricket. It was a filthy short wide that the batsman reached out for so far. He somehow managed to get it straight over the bowler's head for 4.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
Which reminds me, I'm going to see Dracula tonight.
That's on the extreme sideline, never mind the usual wide one.
And he managed to hoik it back straight over the bowler's head, which ended up being a very good place to hit it because there's no one ever really straight. And they're usually quite out wide and long.
You literally can't put a man there because you're not allowed a man in front of the side screen.
That's true. Adil Rashid, last ball of his spell, 3 for 36 up until this ball, and the last ball does get a wicket. Bowled in with the googly. Shanaka went to heave another one over the leg side, got beaten in the flight. It turns back just enough to hit the off stump, and Shanaka is gone. 21 off 10 balls.
So get on your bike and take a hike right out of here.
Googly?
Yeah, Lord. Good innings though, 21 off 10. This is exactly what it needed with 2 balls.
Yeah, it did need a bit of an injection, yes.
I mean, they can get up to 160, 170 here if they're... Well, 170 is a bit of a push, maybe.
I would think 30, that is a bit of a stretch,
that's 32 runs and 2 overs, but certainly they should be aiming for
160.
High 150s, 160 now, yeah.
I have enlightenment from Josh Holland, who says slugs and snails are gastropods.
Okay.
Arthropods include insects, arachnids, and crustaceans.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Cetaceans are definitely not in the order Carnivora, often confused with carnivores in the sense of eats meat. And Cricketing View says Baka Jilani played one test for India in England in 1936. He's related to the Majid Khan, Imran Khan, Javad Berki cricket family. Also related to Jahangir Khan, former world #1 squash player. 20th century subcontinent sport is dominated by about 50 families. And Jonah Barrington.
Jahangir Khan was he won the world squash title about 9 times in a row, didn't he? That's when I used to play squash when I was a kid.
Rafael Nadal of squash.
He was unbeatable, really.
We have a new batsman whose jingle we already played for someone else, apparently, but we're going to play it again.
Don't know what that reference is.
Der Kommissar.
Okay.
Well, we won't. Yes. Well, I won't repeat the whole discussion.
DJ Mead also points out that insects are arthropods. They have solid, crunchy exteriors. Slugs and snails are mollusks. Confusingly, snails also have crunchy exteriors.
But not as part of their body, are they? They don't generate the shell, do they? Oh, maybe they do. Pinged, very full. Wokes is back into its tap for his last over. It's a leg stump, well, it's an outside leg stump, Yorker. That Akila Dhananjaya tries to work into the leg side. Basically, it hits his foot, and now he's hobbling and knocks him over, essentially. They've still got through for the single.
Kelly
leg
Wheeler.
by, really. Boom. Oh, that must have hurt, actually. It's hit him on the bridge of the foot. At 85 miles an hour without pitching. And it's totally taken his feet away from him. And now he's in a lot of pain. Is he going to hobble off? Or is he going to carry on? No, he's going to carry on. Must carry on.
Kelly Wheeler says, a wise piece of advice I was once given: never date women with large hands because they make your cock look foolish. I'm just trying to change the subject from veganism.
Job done.
Yes. No, sorry, they didn't go through for a single. I thought they had gone through for a single, but they didn't. Wokes will come in for a second ball. He's gone for 29 in 3 overs so far. This one is driven out to the cover boundary, and they will get a single. Sorry, they did. It was Chandimal who got hit on the foot. I've got this all wrong, haven't I? My apologies to you all. Akila is now facing.
Chandimal hasn't really managed to catch up. 32 off 39.
No. 141, no, it's not so bad. Oh, played out by Akila, and it's played and missed. It goes through to Butler behind the stumps, no run. Just 2 runs so far off the over and a leg by. 1 for 1 for 6, with 9 balls remaining for Sri Lanka. What's the time now?
It's 5:15, so yeah, we'll probably go through to about
7ish.
7:15.
Yeah, about then. Wokes is up to the crease now, bowls another short one, and
shot.
That's a good shot by Akila. Just let it come off the face of the bat, over Butler's head, down to a very fine third man. Picks himself up 4 runs.
I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4.
And that's where these extra Chris Wokes jingles are in Boundaries for Mog. So I'll play one I may also not have heard. Oh yes, heard this one, yeah.
When Broad and Bresnan have a rest, it's Chris Wokes Day, it's Chris Wokes Day. If their names are not on the list, it's Chris Wokes Day in the morning.
Broad and Bresnan's names haven't been on the white ball list for some time.
No.
Not for England, anyway. Still playing white ball stuff for Notts and for Yorkshire. Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Bresnan still gets the odd gig in the Big Bash and such like.
Yeah. Full toss well outside the off stump from Akila. Throws his bat at it. Bottom hand comes off the bat. They've gone for 2. I think that's out. They've gone for 2. Akila's come back. I don't think he's made his ground. It's a good throw in from the boundary from Bairstow. Butler didn't have to move. Took the bails. He was diving to try and get in. I think he's walking off. He knows he's out. They'll probably go upstairs because they always do. But Akila's been run out. 4-7 off 4 balls. 1 for 6 for 7, Sri Lanka.
Go OUT the window, go OUT the window, go OUT the window, 'cause OUT spells out.
Yeah, he was probably 2 or 3 feet short,
Yeah,
even with the dive.
Lovely throw from Johnny B.
It was.
Good bit of fielding, yeah.
Exactly
Covered some
right.
ground.
We do have tweets. Another horse says, it's nice to be back listening to you folk while working from home. The relentless pedantry and quibbling is delightful. Josh Holland says, I am vegetarian with very occasional lapses for special occasions because I am too weak to manage without cheese. And Ravinair says, most contentious statements so far, cruelty is a fact from Gary. Philosophically, cruelty is both in the intention of the actor and the reaction of the moral patient. You can't be cruel to a rock, and if you don't intend it, you can't be cruel to a cow. My understanding of the production of milk is there is an intention to do things to a cow which would cause it pain and otherwise wouldn't happen without the intervention of the actor. But I'm not absolutely certain.
Here's a batsman who prefers to be cruel and cause pain to the feet of the people he's bowling at.
Yeah.
She asked me why I'm just a hairy guy.
Lassie Malinga!
Still sporting the highlight curls, good to see.
Yeah, and he's got a little podgy in his old age, isn't he? And he's not even that old, but the fact that he's not playing Test cricket anymore.
Yeah, well, he's still bowled very well in the last ODI.
Yeah, well, you know, he's only got the last 20 overs, hasn't he? And he's only got well 4 of them. He faces up to Woke's first ball. It's full, and he just clips it up to long on, and he will get himself off the mark with a single.
Has anybody persisted with the highlight curls as long as Malinga has? I mean, it's a good 10 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, he obviously likes it. That's his signature.
Signature move.
His signature move is his, yeah.
And Sri Lanka now have their bonus over.
Yep. The extra 6
All
balls.
runs count double.
Yeah. Chandimal not out 32 or 39 deliveries, and Malinga is 1 off 147 for 7 with 1 over remaining, 12 extras. And
bit of byplay on Twitter about women with large hands, which I'll leave out.
Really? We're not going to hear it?
Well, Kelly Wheeler says, I avoid meat cleaver wielding women for obvious reasons, because Ravinair says, but women with large hands are much better at butchering meat because they can wield cleavers more easily.
Fair enough. Well, Tom Curran's going to bowl the final over.
Boiling bunnies is more that sort of thing.
Cleave your own meat, Ravi. It's 2018.
Exactly. 2 for 14, Tom Curran. He's bowled well today. It's his last over. It's another one out the back of the hand. Malinga comes down the track to make room to heave it over the top. Sees it dipping on him and just clunks it up to long off, and he'll get himself a single.
I'm always pleased to use the verb to cleave, though, because it's its own opposite. It means both to separate apart, but also to stick together.
I've never heard it used as to stick together.
Yeah, your tongue cleaves to the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good throw by Johnny B to that run out, as Andy said.
Well, I think it improves England's fielding to have Butler at keeper and Bairstow as boundary rider.
I think you're right. Bairstow's definitely a better outfielder. Oh, it's a full toss, and Chandimal's chunked that way up into the air. It could have been a no ball. I don't know if it will be given. Oh dear, comedy all round. It was a terrible ball, full toss, waist high. Chandimal mishit it straight up in the air. Jason Roy's out at long on. There's no one up inside the circle. Obviously, it's the last over at mid on. So it dropped just outside the circle. Roy couldn't make it up. Threw it in. They were going back for 2. Would have been an easy run out, but the throw was pretty crap and landed at the feet of the bowler Tom Curran, who then couldn't pick it up to run out Malinga at the non-strikers end.
I think it was correctly not called a no ball, though.
Yeah. It often looks more like a no ball, and they seem reluctant to give it when it's around about waist high, don't they? They give the benefit of the doubt to the bowler often. Curran in. It's full again. Bump ball, and Curran dives to his right and sticks a paw out and pats it into the ground. So they won't get a run.
Tony Bishop says, large hands is a German. I'll look out for him this evening. And Jeff Perkins says, seems old-fashioned to value a woman only for her cleavage.
Boom, boom.
Mayank says, how long is the break?
10 minutes. It's only a 10-minute break. It's basically a T20 with an extra over, as Andy said. It's the bonus over.
And on the bonus over, Peter Lloyd says, don't mention things like double runs off the last over. You might give the ECB spy who is monitoring you an idea.
I think they should go for it. Commit to it. That's out.
Chandimal has gone for a scoop off a very, very slow ball by Tom Curran. Falls over while scooping it straight to Adil Rashid, who is on the 45 and in the circle. And he catches it easily. It just plops into his hands. Chandimal is gone. And another wicket falls for Sri Lanka.
Yep, another comedy wicket.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Showing his guns, Tom
Sun's
Curran.
out, guns out.
Yeah. 150 for 8. Chandimal goes for 34 off 42. Caught Rashid bowled Curran. 2 4s, no 6s. Strike rate of 81.
Yeah, 81's not good.
How have they got to 150 in this innings? They seem to have been,
the start,
terrible
the
apart from the
start
first
right
time.
they had. They put a few runs in the bank.
Yeah, and then who was it? Who was the guy?
Dasun
Shanaka.
Shanaka, yeah.
Yeah, has just had a quite explosive 24 off about 10 balls, didn't he? Which really moved things along when they were stuck in 110s.
Okay, another batsman who's new to me.
Looking at Alfonso Amila.
Oh dear.
He won't get smacked about. He's a pretty good finger spinner. If you want to try and get somebody out, you better run the ball, make a bowling change. Shalom.
He's wearing a chest guard.
On his side.
On his side.
Yeah, upside down it looks
by the
like
looks
as
of it,
well.
it's probably just a thigh pad strapped around his waist. Tom Curran is in, slower ball outside the off stump, heaved out by Aponzo, misses it completely, goes through the keeper, no run. Last ball of the over, presumably they'll run whatever. Will Butler hit the stumps if they miss it? Will they get through? Ooh, it's jeopardy.
Given it's Malinga running towards his end, I think Joss Butler can light up a cigarette, sit in an armchair for 10 minutes, walk up to the stumps, remove a bail, backhanded, not looking, and still run Malinga out.
Well, Curran and Adil Rashid have got all the wickets bowled, one between them, haven't they? 4 for Adil Rashid, 3 for Curran. Who got the other one? It wasn't Stone.
Moeen? Not sure.
I don't think it was Moeen. Another slow ball, another heave. And we don't know. There could be a run out.
Yeah.
The camera stayed on Butler.
Butler missed, but Curran hit.
Yes, he did miss it. Did a Ponzo, and Butler missed rolling it at the stumps. Curran picked it up, threw down the bowler's end stumps, and there was indeed a run out. The other wicket was a run out, wasn't it? So there was 2 run outs, 3 wickets for Curran, and 4 wickets for Adil Rashid. Which leaves Sri Lanka with a total of 150 for 9. Maybe enough, may not. They've probably got a lot of slower bowlers.
It's short.
Too.
I think it's short of par, but it's not undefendable.
Yeah, it's definitely a run out. He was well short of his ground by about 2 or 3 metres in the end. And for once, an umpire
He's
just
so
gives him
far
straight
out, the umpire just gave him out. Yes.
Didn't do the little box and show it upstairs.
Ravi Nair says, cleave as stick to is a biblical hymnal favourite. Rock of Ages is another instance. And yes, I've been cleaving my own meat since 1990. But in 2018, sometimes we share duties. I always do the ironing, for instance.
Oh, I hate ironing.
I don't do it.
I don't do it. I refuse to iron. I
Life's
remember
too
when I
short
first
to
got
be
to bed with
ironing.
my wife, we used to have piles and piles of washing that she said, we've got to iron, we need an ironing board. I've got an ironing board, it never got ironed. And she went on holiday, we took one of the kids with her, and rather than iron it myself, I started ironing it, and there was this pile. No, I just took it to the bloody laundrette and said, can you iron this? And paid them 40 quid, and they ironed it. I think after that we stopped ironing, because she got really upset with me that I paid someone to do it. But it's like, well, you're not doing it.
You can buy shirts that are perfectly acceptable that are non-iron shirts. I just don't understand it.
And anything you
I'm
put
modelling
on
here today.
Well, exactly. I've never ironed a t-shirt in my life.
You can buy perfectly good sort of Lewin shirts and Charles Turret shirts, which are maybe a bit sort of mass markety, but they have the Teflon in, so you hang them up and they dry, and they
and even if they are anything that's creased when you put it on, generally after you wear it for 10 minutes or so, the creases drop out.
Yeah, although I am half covered in soup, so I'm maybe not the best model at the moment.
Half Covered in Soup, that was one of those albums from the 90s. I think that was by Weezer, wasn't it?
Yep.
Half Covered in Soup. We have no tweets. We do have a break in the innings.
Put some highlights on or something. Yep. It's only like 5 or 6 minutes. It almost feels like we can just put on a couple of long jingles.
Just put something on from there. Interviews or that.
Have a quick look at interviews. Is
there anything 5 minutes long? Random.
Yeah, here's Carlos Brathwaite on the West Indies and the rest of the world hurricane relief game.
How long is it?
5 minutes and 14 seconds.
Okay, we'll be back in 5 minutes and 14 seconds.
I'm here with West Indies T20 captain Carlos Brathwaite. Carlos, what does this game mean for the West Indies team?
It means a lot, not only for the team, but for the people of the West Indies, and I guess it would hit home a lot more to the people that were affected directly by it. Obviously, we were affected by it in some way, whether directly or indirectly. Persons have been homeless, persons have, found their way of life diminished. So I want to say thanks to all the persons who've, got together and put this game on. And, it's very proactive, and hopefully it's something that we can make annual and, continue to put into this fund, because we never know when disaster will strike, but we need that when disaster strikes, that the awareness and the funds are there so that people can get back on their feet as quickly as possible.
Well, cricketers have taken the lead in helping this effort. I know there was a big game in Trinidad and Tobago as well.
Yeah, well, my company donated the clothing for the rest of the Caribbean team. So definitely something close to my heart. Obviously, sometimes you're a bit spoiled. We travel all around the world. We stay in 5-star hotels, and we forget that there's actually a way of living, not necessarily below that, but a real world where people struggle sometimes, and then that struggle can even be enhanced when disaster strikes. So it was a real wake-up call in a sense. That happened so close to my home of Barbados, although we weren't, as I said, directly affected. Obviously, I knew someone, Kyle Mears, who was stranded there for a while, and that really hit home. The cricket community in Barbados kind of went into shock, always wanting to know updates and if they found him, that sort of stuff, if he was still alive. And I guess at that moment, the thought that one of your peers and colleagues could be that close to death was really a wake-up call. Obviously, with the stadium being destroyed and that sort of stuff, now there's one less stadium and one island or one country where potential young budding cricketers won't have a place to hone the craft, and that also hit home as well. And then even beyond the sport, there's just life in general. Persons have been displaced, obviously lost a lot. So for us to be able to use this platform to be able to give back to them, the people of the Caribbean, the persons that were displaced, even the people that are fully fit and maybe weren't there at the time of the disaster, or maybe came out with the disaster not as badly as others, is still a sign that us cricketers can use our platform for good. Hopefully more people jump on and continue to add to the fund and to continue to raise the awareness.
Good stuff, and lots been well supported by all the players. In fact, this is probably one of the strongest West Indies teams you've put out for some time.
Well, I don't want to debate the strength of the team, but yeah, all the players wanted to be a part of it. Some of the players will even donate to the fund independently, and the players have donated the wages that we would have been given for this game to the charity relief as well. So we're not only here in mind and body, but financially we're also contributing. So it's a big statement on behalf of the players, obviously, and we just want to, as I say, use this platform to help people to come together and not only raise funds, but raise awareness for the possibilities of devastation in the islands.
Carlos, you were made West Indies T20 captain after that amazing final when you won the World T20. Take us back to that over against Ben Stokes, the last over.
Yeah, I've been asked this question many times. Yeah, I guess it's just a level of focus. Bat versus ball, just concentrating, basically just took the equation, everything out of my mind, and really focused in on what needed to be done. Just watch the ball and let my body react. And thankfully, 4 balls later, it was over. We were world champions, So, it's a night I'll never forget. And thankfully I was that person holding the bat, effecting the victory, but credit must go to the team. I think that tournament was a total team tournament. In every game someone put their hand out and won the game for us. So obviously my 4 balls in a way overshadowed the whole journey, but I just want to pay respect to each and every person in the squad who was a part of that journey, even down to someone Lender Simmons who got off the plane and won us the semi-final. Those sort of things really, you know, gave value to what was an inspiring team performance and eventually the team spirit that took us over the line.
From your point of view, it was such a famous over. It must have been difficult to follow that. And I know you've got back into the 50-over team now and it's back on the up. But for a while, was it difficult to follow that one over? Because it became famous overnight for that.
I guess it was a bit taxing. I didn't realize it at first, and then by the time I realized it was a few months in. So yeah, so I mean, once I raised the awareness and I understood, you know, this is what is happening, this is the reason for your decline, then I was able to, you know, pick myself back up and find ways and means of dealing with it. So I'm happy on the path that I'm at now, probably for some time, and hopefully long may continue that upward spiral and I can finish the game, you know, as a well-respected cricketer with a career that I can be proud of.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Carlos.
No worries.
O'Brien, Kevin, Guerrilla Crickets.
Hello, we're back. That was just a very brief interlude of David Brooks talking during the West Indies Hurricane Relief game, of course, at Lords, that we covered it back in May. It was. What a long summer it's been. The Sri Lankans are making their way to the middle. The England openers are also on their way out. They need 151 to win in 21 overs. What a long, protracted day it has been, but finally we've got one-day international cricket reduced to more or less T20. But there you go. Such is life. I'm Gorilla Hendo. Beside me is Not Fred.
Hello.
And on my left is Nestle Boy. Hello. And we've been talking about Jim Steiner.
Yes, and we're now going to sing Paradise by the Dashboard Light, all 9.5 minutes of it, including the baseball interlude.
If you sing Better Hell, I wouldn't mind. Do you want some tweets that are meaningless now? Because we've just...
There was a good one from Kate. I like the one Katie sent in.
Well, hang on. Margaret Thatcher was a great fan of ironing, she says. So I refuse to do it in case I find myself accidentally privatising the industries.
Privatising ironing. I'm all for that. I want someone to do my ironing.
Mayank says, here's a tweet, read it out. Messi Jez says, with the utmost respect, I'm not entirely sure you would be my go-to guys for sartorial advice. We need Sophie Katie for that. And Peter Lloyd says, and like bystander, if TM Lewin is your idea of mass market shirts, Gary, I think your standards are calibrated a bit too high. Well, I've got quite a lot of their stuff. In fact, these trousers are from TM Lewin.
I'm going to play some jingles.
I say nothing.
She asked me why.
I'm just a journalist.
I'm just a hairy guy.
Lasith Malinga. And the batsman.
Duckworth Lewis loves you. The clouds part for you. Nothing stands in your way when you're a Roy.
And just for the hell of it, the other batsman.
Johnny Best is smarter than the average Besto. Johnny Best has been this good since daycare, so all put on your wigs and let the crimson hair flow. I want the Pope to give him his a large prayer. Oh, he can hit the sixes, although it's so dark. He'd even run a 10 at Bradford Park Avenue. No other Yorkshireman can compare. I tell you, Johnny Best is smarter than the average bear.
We're about to get underway in this experimental competition, the 126. And England have all of those balls. I don't know if there'll be a 10-ball final over, but we shall see. Lasith Malinga to open his account. He's coming into Jason Roy. He's got a wide slip, and he bowls an absolutely dreadful wide down the leg side. Now that, well, I'm not sure the filth jingle does it justice, does it? That was awful. I think he let go of that a little early.
Is it still a wet ball?
It's outside the guidance line, outside the leg stump. That gives you an idea of how wide it was. Brilliant work by Dick Weller to actually get across to that. And Malinga inspects his fingers and says, "Ooh, what happened there?"
The nature of the way he bowls, surely he's prone to that kind of thing anyway.
You don't see it very
so.
often from him. Yeah,
No.
but absolutely, with a sticky ball, yes. Here he is again into Roy. Roy needs some runs. He drives this, but with no great power, up to mid-on. Pereira does the fielding. I remember someone talking the other day as I was going home, having only done the morning commentary for the Saturday ODI, that the numbers of the shirts, which we have pinned up here on the wall for the Sri Lankan players, what did Thisara Pereira do to get number 1? What did he do?
They said to him, "What number do you want?" And he said, "Well, what number is available?" And they said, "Well, 1." He said, "All right, yeah, I'll take it."
Here comes Malinga. Oh, again, it's down the leg side and full, and that'll be another wide. So England advance to 2 without loss. So barely having to put bat on ball. Chandamal is coming to talk to Alim Dari, saying, "Can you do something about my bowler?" He seems to have lost his range. Or it didn't even find it today, I think, is probably what he's intimating.
Carrying a fair bit of timber these days, isn't he?
Oh, he is. I mean, it's interesting that it was interesting to hear the talk this morning and yesterday about Malinga and, you know, what are England going to do to repel Malinga, because he took 5 wickets on Saturday. He's in again. He gives himself room, does Roy, and then clips it over the mid-wicket area all the way for a big 6.
The number of the day really hops and kicks. The number of the day is 666.
Yeah, he gave himself room outside the leg stump. He followed him, but didn't get it close enough to his body, and it gave Roy the opportunity to swing through that and pick it up over deep mid-wicket for 6.
PJ Mead says, after that first ball, do you still have the "Stop Being Crap" jingle?
Yes, we do, somewhere.
But
although crap is not the word.
He's still being crap at the moment.
Now the men out. One has gone out too long off. Can't see where the other one is outside the circle. 4 overs, of course, in the power play. Oh, and that's in the air and should be caught, but isn't. In fact, it was just out of the reach of the man at extra cover, who threw himself at it. It was in the air for some time. It was a horrible leading edge. We saw Roy get out rather in that manner on Saturday, and he's lucky to escape there.
Stop being shit.
That just... Oh dear.
Well, it turned him round.
This is how they are
totally front on when he played that.
dealing with Malinga. He's going at 20 runs and over at the minute.
Well, what I was going to say about Malinga is that all this talk about what are we going to do about Malinga. Well, people need to be reminded that Malinga nearly called it quits in March this year because his bowling had his form was so bad. He got 4 wickets in one game of the Asia Cup and then 5 wickets the other day. Turned into the onside by Roy. He's looking for a second. Akila is going around the field. They're going to come back and they're going to get there comfortably. That's good placement. It's good running. England 12 without loss.
No tweets?
No, everyone's quiet at the moment. If you are still listening, tweet us in at Gorilla Cricket is the handle. We shall read you out. Or not.
Depending on our mood.
Depending on, yes.
Yeah, so...
how I'm feeling.
Tweeters.
Stop being shit.
And get your tweets in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Nestle Boy will be unemployable.
I like the way you thought that Malinga's having difficulty with gripping the ball, so it's Slinger Malinga's sticky finger.
Here he is again, bowls to Roy, who pushes up to mid-off and takes the single because the mid-off is right back on the edge of the circle.
You sounded surprised that Roy was batting then.
I thought he'd got a single the previous ball and I thought perhaps it was Bairstow, but no.
Roy's batting?
It was Roy because he got 2 rather than 1. He's gone to 11, but Bairstow will face the final ball of the over.
He's playing for England?
Now let's have a look at this field. He's got a ring of 4 on the offside. He's got a wideish slip.
He's got a ring of 4.
Oh, Diane Patterson says, listening again, some interviews and games merit the silence key.
Oh.
What do you mean?
Do you mean the break, Diana?
Or Gary. Tell us it was Gary.
Malinga to complete this protracted over, and Bairstow's off the mark straight away. Beautifully timed through mid-wicket, all the way along the ground, out to the boundary edge, and 4 runs from his first ball.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, that's how you deal with Malinga. You've got 17 off his
I was going to
first
say the
over.
rejuvenated Malinga has gone for 17 from his 8 balls of that over. It was pretty ugly. It could have been more, actually, if Dick Weller hadn't got to his first ball that was a yard and a half down the leg side.
I wonder how they do his hair.
It's just natural, isn't it?
It just hasn't grown
Really?
out yet, that's all. He had some
Really?
highlights done in 2003, and they haven't grown out.
Well, Ollie Stone conceded 17 from his first over and got taken off immediately. Came back a bit later, but it'd be interesting to see what Chandamal decides to do with his strike bowler. Now, a new face to many of us, Amila Aponzo, left arm orthodox.
And he's got a 30-second jingle.
Well, let's just see what we can get through.
I'm looking at Alfonso Amila. They hope he won't get smacked about. He's a pretty good finger spinner. If you want to try and get somebody out, you better throw the ball and make a bowling change.
First ball, Roy steps down the wicket, gets the ball into a half volley position and pushes firmly up to mid-on for a single.
What's that weird thing he does before he releases the ball?
Oh, it's just to fool you, Nestlers. It's a bit like what Jayasuriya does when he's got a 50.
Well, that always fools me.
But then he does have a bat in his hand as well.
We're not allowed to mention Jayasuriya.
Alec Payton.
Did I say Jayasuriya? I meant to say Jadeja. I don't know why I said Jayasuriya.
Alec Payton has a question. If England keep playing well, how are the ECB going to crowbar Gary Balance and Keaton Jennings into this side 2 weeks before the World Cup?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? But they'll have to keep an eye on those two.
Alistair Cook come back?
Yeah, could
the
be.
World Cup?
Could be. Well, yeah, when he said he wanted to play in the World Cup, he didn't actually say which one, did he? Driven by Bairstow and caught at mid-off. He was trying to loft that over him. Didn't quite get it, so he goes second ball for 4. England are 18 for 1.
Nick Martin has a question. Malinga can bowl 5 overs, right?
Yes.
And England will have won it midway through the 4th.
And Rennie Keita on the Malinga front says, clearly Malinga is out of his comfort zone in this newfangled 21 over format.
Yeah, it's not his thing, is it?
How would you describe Malinga if he wasn't pulling his weight and was not
He's
playing to
pushing his weight because it's in front of him.
Would you
mainly.
call him a Malinga?
It's been done before, that one.
Okay.
What is the target, Mark Zip wants to know? His target is to clean a box of records by the end of play.
He's always doing something with records, is Mark Zip. It's
Selling them,
151. 151.
Diana Patterson says, yes, Nestle boy. I do mean the break. You replay some items over and over and over again, but you don't have to listen to them. What we do in the green room. That Ireland match, for instance, was terrific the first couple of times. ...
Well, I think it's the only time we didn't make any mistakes. That's why we play that over and over and over.
Well,
and over
apart
again.
from having Gary Wilson keeping wicket for the whole of the first day.
Yeah, but you do. Well, not the whole of the first day, for about 20 minutes.
Diana, I did actually, just before we came on air, brought up the very point that you're making. But
Listen,
it's to be discussed.
We are trying to find more things to do during the break, but it's been a funny old day, hasn't it? We ended up doing 2 sessions of Pakistan-Australia this morning while we were waiting for this game to get underway. We didn't think it was going to get underway, and then of course suddenly they surprised us by taking the covers off when it was still raining.
And also we assume you all just go and do something else with your life once the breaks happen.
Yeah, I mean, you could just listen to
Apart
us
from Messi
tediously wibbling, and I mean, I'm not sure that our contemporary wibbling is any better than our past wibbling. Thrown up towards Joe Root, and Joe Root chops this into the covers straight to extra, and there is no run. He has a jingle that goes a bit like this. Plays the next ball straight to mid-wicket, and there is no run.
Juliet Clancy is telling people that it's not on the radio, but we are covering it on internet.
It's not on radio. Well,
it's not on the radio.
That
Live ball by ball, is it?
Well, it should be on. No, not on the radio.
No,
digital
it's not
radio.
on the radio.
It's not on the radio. Driven back to Aponzo. He's done quite well in this over so far. 1 for 1.
People are trying to tune in on a wireless somewhere, and she's
Right.
telling
Wireless.
It's not on the tranny. Although that means something different nowadays, doesn't it?
them. God, yeah, I didn't think of that.
Here comes Aponzo to complete the over, and Root drives, and he'll get his first run here. Although there's a good piece of fielding, he's comfortably through, and England after 2 overs are 19 for 1. More tweets?
Not at the moment. They're all thinking hard about what to say.
Well, getting to that
Look,
time,
that's what I mean.
we've been here for God knows how long. How long have we been here for?
I've been here
been
for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, you haven't been here long.
Yeah.
I've got here about, what, 9:30?
Yeah, well, exactly. And I was here before you. I was here
Yeah.
about 10 to 9. It's a bloody long day, and now we're under these harsh lights in the studio.
9 hours ago, that was.
If I could read through
No,
my
10 hours.
sunglasses, I'd wear them in here, I think.
It is very bright. It's a bit like being back in the Sports Tonight live studio, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although perhaps
Without
not-
the antics going on next door.
Without, yeah,
Well, who knows what's going on in the green room right now?
without the smell of urine as you went into the studio.
Oh no, we imported that. We brought that with.
Change of bowling. Out of the attack comes Malinga, and into the attack, I think, comes one of the mystery spinners. It's going to be Akila Dhananjaya. I like this one.
Richard Wilkinson, don't tell people it's on TalkSport 2.
Oh, thank you, Richard Wilkinson. Thank you so much, Richard Wilkinson.
Dear, oh dear.
Don't expect us to follow you. Dhananjaya then in bowls. Oh, what looked like a horrible delivery. It was pulled down. It almost looked like a chuck. Flicked away with some alarm by Root because it was in the air for a moment and he thought he was going to get out to an absolutely terrible ball. Chandamel fields at mid-wicket and there is no run.
Sri Lankan bowlers don't chuck.
Well, I don't think they do, but that did look slightly suspicious, that delivery. Anyway, here he comes again. Bowls, and Root is down the wicket and gets this straighter of the mid-wicket. He'll get 1. He might come back for a second. I think he will. Thassara is around a deep mid-wicket to field. England move to 21 for 1.
21 for 1. And the target is 151.
It's all very exciting. We're all absolutely gripped by this game.
This is the most exciting
It
part,
is
I think,
hard to
really.
get.
This is
it's
one
hard
of the
to get up
great
for this
one-day
one.
series of all time.
Well, it's got to be better than the seven match one back in November 2014. Root goes back again. He plays this in the air a little bit, playing a bit early, scooping it towards mid-on, but it bounces once before it gets to the fielder.
Sri Lankan flag and the English flag are both lions, but the Sri Lankan flag lion is holding a sword, whereas the English one has just got a stupid grin on its face, according to...
And a very, very red tongue for some reason. That looks like the leggy. It was an attempted leggy. It's forced off the back foot by Root. He finds the space he was looking for, and although 3 men are in pursuit, none of them will get to it. It's 4 runs.
This jingle is for Nestle Boy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's my dad, Jeff.
You never heard that because you were in church. You never watched Thunderbirds.
No.
One of the mysteries of the mystery spinner is that he bowls a ball that looks like it should be a leg break, which does absolutely nothing.
I've done a few of those.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was a mystery. It was a mystery when they ever landed, to be fair.
Well, if you didn't know what was coming out, how did the batsman have a chance? This is flicked away off the straight by Root through square leg. He'll take another single. He moves to 7. England to 26 for
Actually,
1.
I'm not being so fair on myself. I never had any trouble spinning the ball. It was just landing it was the issue. Yeah.
Well, Root goes on to 8 from 9. Roy has 12 from 6. Just retaking his guard. Dick
Jason,
Wellerford standing up.
Jason Hitchcock.
Hello, Jace.
He says Roy Bear.
Roy
Question
Bear.
mark. Roy Bear.
No, you lost me.
How many letters? What is it? 3,4.
Roy, all one word, capital B A I R.
A-I-R. Lost me there. Firm push to mid-on by Roy brings him another single. As Root scoots down the other end. Has to be quite quick because the throw came in flat and direct.
Is it Roy Bear?
Roy Bear.
Explain yourself, Hitchco.
Roy Bear. I don't know.
Anyway.
I'm lost.
End of the 3rd over. 1 over to go in the power play. England 27 for 1. I'm trying to think what Sri Lanka had at the end of the power play. Power play just 4 overs in this particular match. I think they had 45.
They were going
I don't know.
They went quite a lick, didn't they?
They did.
I don't know.
And
you don't care, do you?
Well, you put words into my mouth, but you're not far from the truth. Tomorrow afternoon, if I asked you what happened in this game, you would struggle to remember it, I think.
I struggle to remember a lot of games, to be honest. We've done so much that we were watching the 2014 T20 tournament, World T20 tournament in Sri Lanka earlier, and I had very little memory. It was Hales getting a big 100.
Dan Jocelyn is still listening.
Hey!
Don't worry,
Well done,
guys. We all feel sometimes like we're shouting into a formless void. We listeners exist and have forms, if not particularly svelte ones. Good to hear, Dan, that you're not just some formless thing.
I
in a
prefer
void.
to think of you as formless, actually, because if you imagine a form for our listeners, it's worrying.
Well, we've seen some of our listeners.
We have seen some, and it's worrying. I would say.
Well, I was a listener, so was Fred.
And it's worrying. What more can I say?
Yeah, true. All right.
27 for 1, Roy to face Aponzo.
I wandered into a studio one day and you gave me the dirtiest look in the world.
Did I?
That's before he knew you as well.
Now that one keeps coming, and there's a bit of confusion. Root has to turn and race back because Roy for sure was not coming for a single there.
You didn't know who I was, and I walked in and I said I was talking to the bear, and I looked over and I had seen pictures of you guys, and I've looked at you and sort of raised my eyebrows, and you just scowled at me. And I went over and I went, "Hello, it's me, Nestle boy." You went, "Oh my God!"
I think it's because smash that down towards mid-on. There is no mid-on. There's a long on, and he has to leap full length to prevent that going for 4. But Roy has hurried back for the second. Good piece of fielding by Shanaka down there as well.
Pointless question for the Twizzersphere. These two England batsmen have only 5 different letters between the two of them.
It's true. What's the question?
No, 5 or 4. 1, 2,
What's the question?
4.
Though?
Has there ever been a pair of English batsmen who have had fewer than 4 different letters in their names?
I think we've done this before, surely.
Root and
You're
Roy.
beginning to repeat yourself, Fred.
R-O-Y and T, that's it.
He's in round the wickets, and he drives very well indeed. And despite the dive at mid-off, it escapes the fielder and runs to the boundary for 4.
1, 2,
I thought we got rid of this one.
3, 4.
Tiku Patel's with us.
Hello, Tiku.
He's listening to Standing Room Only on a commuter train into London. Pleased to have you on the journey, boys. What golf club have you been at today, Tiku? That's what I want.
He's a golf man, isn't he? Yes, that's right.
Kelly Wheeler says, Roy Bear B&B. I'll break off.
Flicked from outside off stump. He just got a little bit outside his crease and worked it up to long on. They take a single. Roy moves to 20.
Kelly Wheeler says, Roy Bear B&B, question mark, for who needs to crash on Jason Roy's sofa? Question mark. I think Roy Bear equals Roy plus Bairstow, Aka, Brangelina, etc., says Ajit Skanda. Ah, okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Roy Bear.
Yes. Sorry, Jace. It's been a long day, Jace.
Roystow.
And Rooty as these two.
In comes Aponzo. Bowled, hits him on the pad. No, he's bowled him, in fact, I think.
It's gone.
Yeah, Root has gone. Bowled by young Aponzo for 8. And England are in trouble at 34 for 2. Just reaching for that a little bit, I think, Root, rather than letting it come to him. And it did hit the pad and then onto the off stump.
It's always good to see Nestle Boy chair dancing to Chic.
He doesn't dance.
He's such a great fan.
He was telling me earlier he doesn't dance.
He's a great fan of pop music.
He doesn't dance. He doesn't like disco.
I like
and there he was dancing to disco.
Yeah, yeah.
I like.
You've been rumbled, Nestlers.
I like that song by Chic, but I wouldn't play it at home. I wouldn't go home and put Chic on.
Oh no, goodness me!
Well, there you go then. That's my point about point about pop music is I don't play it. I don't play pop music. Well, punk, rock, all sorts. Well, I was listening to Crass
James
yesterday.
Last,
Anarcho-punk,
Max Bygraves,
Val Doonican.
Couldn't be further away from the truth.
Mel Torme, The Velvet Fog.
I was playing the Velvet Underground yesterday.
I was close.
The first album.
That's unlistenable, most of that.
That's like pop music to my ears.
Dear.
I think the thing was when we first met, Nestlers, I couldn't believe you look like how you do look.
Did you see that picture he tweeted with his long flowing locks a couple of weeks ago?
Curly, long hair.
That was 1978.
For some reason, I had this image of you sitting in the top room of your house, looking out a very small window, dressed in a black suit. I don't know why that was the image that came to mind.
A suit indoors.
Yes, it's strange, isn't it? Sitting at the window.
You are strange.
Owen Morgan has come to the crease, and he has a jingle that goes like this.
Old O'Connor had a farm, E-I-O and Morgan.
Oh, Tiku loves chic. And he said no golf now, networking today.
Networking?
I thought you were going to retire, Tiku. That's
You couldn't network on the golf course.
That's the rumour going around town.
Right, so England 34 for 2. We have 1 ball remaining in the 4th over. Aponzo to bowl it, staying around the wicket to the left-handed Morgan. Morgan takes this short ball off his legs up through mid-wicket, mid-on. They take a single, and he keeps the strike. 35 for 2 after 4. England a little bit behind the rate that Sri Lanka were going at, but I imagine with what they've got left in the hutch, not too bothered about it.
I can't read this tweet out, Ajit, because I have no idea what it means.
Well, let's see if we can work it out.
Earlier discussion about BSIL Askavaska and G Vish Ranath.
Yeah.
Are BSIL, I believe.
Brothers-in-law. Gundappa Vishwanath
right,
and son of Gavaskar. I was wondering whether they were the brothers-in-law with most runs in Test cricket.
It's a bit difficult when you have a conversation that you weren't party to.
This is true.
Also, were they the shortest brothers-in-law to play Test cricket?
Oh, for God's
How many brothers-in-law?
Who's going to measure it?
I'm sure you.
There's lots. There's.
Are there really lots of brothers-in-law that played? Okay. Anyway, Morgan to face. 1 off 1.
Ravi's back with us. Of course, we're all still here and listening. It's just that the looming England collapse has robbed us of speech.
Okay,
well, some good news then.
And that's not Fred on the other mic.
Fred will move into the ball-by-ball chair.
No, I'm not. I'm had enough. I'm going home.
Flicked away as Akila starts a new over through square leg. Easy single.
3-person change.
Okay.
Get ready in the green room.
36 for 2. Still to come, of course. Stokes, Butler, Moeen, Wokes, Rashid, Curran and Stone. Stone batted quite well. I saw something that said that Stones opens the batting for his club side.
I would have thought he'd bat Stone last.
Well, you may be right. He will bat at 11, but he batted quite nicely in those final overs of the England innings on Saturday. In comes Akila, back goes Roy, opens the face, steers it to backward point. They're going to come back for a second. Have to hurry a little bit there, Morgan, as the throw comes into the non-striker's end.
Stephen G. Brady says, many thanks for your coverage. Many thanks today for your coverage. Unlike ECB Cricket and their mates BBC TMS and the new joke that is Cricket Social, I think, or Cricket_TS. Is that the...
is that what they're doing? Cricket_TS? I didn't know that's what it was. Flicked away by Roy to short, fine leg.
No, that's TalkSport.
TalkSport.
Pradeep Fields. I thought they were going to take a run there, but they didn't actually. Good piece of fielding. Got there quickly. Smart, quick throw straight over the top of the stumps.
Green room, come in here. We need you.
Stephen G. Brady, you are most welcome. Please come back.
And spread the word.
And spread the word, mate. Yeah.
Akila in. Now that looks like the googly, and it's hit him on the pad. I wonder whether he got a bit of an inside edge on that.
It was an inside edge. Bat before pad.
In which case, that explains why Alim Dar showed no interest whatsoever. But it was a clever delivery. I thought it's the leggy. I didn't read it myself. Just thick inside edge, wasn't it?
It's a good job you're not playing for England, Hendo, isn't it?
Probably is, actually.
Good job you're not umpiring as well.
He's in again. He goes back to this one. It's coming into him. But he gave himself room and played it comfortably enough out to deep cover. Another single is added to the England score. 39 for 2. We have Gary. And we have Andy Ward waiting in the wings. They just can't contain themselves. The excitement of coming into the studio and being able to bring you brilliant commentary. You know, you make their day. You really do. Down the leg side, well taken by Dick Weller, but it will be a wide. Brilliantly taken, in fact. Very smartly across. Speared it down the leg side, did Dhananjaya. Chandimal is off the pitch at the moment, just waiting to come back on again. He's in, bowls to Morgan, and he does turn this one to Malinga at backward square leg, and they take a single. 41 for 2 after 5 is the score. Roy has 23 and Morgan has 3.
The best things in life are free. just like guerrilla commentary. We need money. That's what I want.
.com/guerrilla cricket.
We need money.
Patreon.com/guerrilla cricket.
I don't like the BBC. I prefer guerrilla commentary. I want money.
$20 for the archive.
That's what I want.
Or just buy a t-shirt.
Yes, so England 41 for 2, 5 overs gone. That's well behind Sri Lanka's 55 for 1, I think, because I came on at the start of the 6 over last time, and I remember they were 55. So England 41, but England have power to add. And EOIM Morgan does that by clattering a half volley through mid-off for one of these.
In fact, yes, I've got 4. 1, 2, 3.
I mean, it was a half volley, but he still drove it beautifully. Didn't try and hit it too hard. Made sure he threaded the gap.
Cricketing View says, what is cricket social anyway, beyond an example of redundancy? If people want to give an empty product a bad name, then learn from the Conservative Party and their slogan of opportunity. And Tiku says, yes, good news, we're playing a game on this train. How many people can you fit in one carriage? We must be close to the record. People on top don't count. It's getting like one of those Indian trains by the sound of it.
Morgan just clipped that one to mid-wicket, no run, so he's back on strike now and he's driving this, but again without any great aggression to the man who's Akila, who's at long off, and they walk an easy single.
I also have a new follower. Hello to the Dan Williams, Sudbrook Sports and Social Ping Pong semi-finalist, Boxing Day 2017.
Wow, that's high class.
High praise indeed.
I think the reason it's called the Cricket Social is the 5 Live have had the football social now for 2 or 3 years, where they have people sitting around the table talking. So, I think
do they do it on
that's
match
where
days?
No, they do it on Mondays, I think, and times like that. As Roy rocks back and punches this to the man sweeping on the cover boundary. Roy is going into his awkward area. He's got 24 now. I always think Roy's going to get out sort of between 25 and 35. Owen Morgan has 8 from 6. The bowler is Dhananjaya. Round the wicket, and Morgan just defends this. There is no run. The Sri Lankans seem to have a lot of slow bowlers. Not many of them spin it, but they bowl slow.
Certainly batted well in the last game, Morgan. Was it 94, 92?
Yeah.
And round the wicket is Dhananjaya, and Morgan punches it to mid-off, and they jog an easy single. I'm not going to be late for theatre tonight if Sri Lanka getting through the overs as quickly as this. That was about 2 minutes for Dhananjaya. He has none for 7 from his first over.
Say to hi to a few people on Crick Tracker. We've had Abhi Pillai, Satash Jangara, Shah Mansoor Aramani, Ahmad Bahir, and Chati Udayanga. I'm really rubbish. I get embarrassed when I get all these names terribly wrong.
Yes, this is where we need Asif or Nakul. Both of them are very
but hello to you
good
all, and I apologise at my terrible attempts at your names.
Yes, it's the different tones in some of the subcontinental.
It's the lilt, isn't it?
Yeah, whether it's Urdu or Hindi or
And
Gujarati
and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So conference now. The captain Chandimal was off for a couple of overs, but now he's back. Tashara Pereira appeared to take over duties before, and he's gone to Aponzo, who is going to continue with his left arm around the wicket. He has 2 for 10 from his 2 overs, so both English wickets are in his credit column, and he's in again now. Not much of an approach.
No, it's, I think it's Akila actually. Oh no, hang on, it's Akila Aponzo. The two players both got Akila on the back of their shirt.
Yeah. Well, Sky is telling us it's Aponzo. Owen Morgan attempted the reverse to that ball and missed it.
It's Amila. Yeah.
Yeah, Amila Aponzo, or Aponzo Amila. Sounds like a character out of a Borges story, doesn't it? Amila Aponzo.
I'll take your word for that.
Yeah. As this ball is pushed by Owen Morgan to mid-wicket. And some smart work coming in off the boundary. The throw comes in, it's not very tidy, but it was released quickly. That was important. Just keeping them to a single. Morgan in double figures now with 10.
Cricketing View, although I tend to agree, I think he's going to have some of the traditionalists frothing in here. He says, Owen Morgan is the greatest living England captain in living memory in any format. Every so often teams try to play in a different way and make it work, and they advance the game. Morgan has done that with England. It's an underrated achievement. The greatest England captain in any format in living memory, Gary?
Well, I'm not sure I would say that. I mean, I do think he has done a lot. He's had the backing of the ECB to do it. As this ball is an attempted reverse from sweep from Jason Roy, who misses it. They might just be better playing ordinary sweeps.
You get that sometimes.
Yeah, he hit the man at backward point, so no run. He's in again as a punt. So again, there's a reverse. Again, he misses it. So that's 3 attempted reverses from England out of these 4 balls, and he missed all 3 of them.
Cricketing View, you have to bear in mind that we're quite old, and so our living memory goes back a long way. And probably a number of us would cite Mike Brearley.
Yeah, you have to say that Strauss was pretty successful as captain.
Yeah, for sure.
And down the track comes Roy and just pushes it into the leg side, and they walk an easy single.
And if you talk about taking a team from where they were at the start of someone's captaincy and where they were at the end, then Nasser Hussain.
Nasser Hussain, Michael Vaughan as well. I mean,
yeah, but I think Hussain and Fletcher did a lot of the groundwork.
Yeah, they built a culture from the ground up, really, Nasser and Duncan Fletcher.
I think we can agree with Sahil, who says Owen Morgan is the greatest Irish-English captain.
And Morgan gives himself room, and as he does so well when he plays sort of authentic shots, he threads the eye of a needle, hitting a boundary off the last ball of the over. It went to the through short extra cover for one of these.
That strong wrist from the position he got himself in to get that out there then.
Because what I would say, I mean, his captaincy is good, but he's definitely the best English batsman at hitting gaps in a one-day field. There's no doubt about that.
Him and Root, I think, are equal. I think Root is extraordinary at it as well.
I think Morgan is even better. But I do take the point about Root. So England 54 for 2, 7 overs gone.
Knackle says Root gone playing for spin that wasn't there. Something to watch when the tests roll round and Hirath comes out. But then he rather spoils his tweet by lapsing into medieval speech. He'll be calling us cockwombles next.
Yeah, the non-spinning spinner has always been a weapon in Sri Lanka. I know they've had the spinning top of Murali, but they've often had non-spinning spinners. One thinks of the aforementioned Jayasuriya. And in comes the as yet unjingled bowler, and it's a decent shot from Jason Roy, who stood up straight, but he hit it straight at mid-on, and there was an attempt to effect a run out at the bowler's end, which was unsuccessful.
It's this man.
She asked me why I'm just a hairy guy.
Lasith Malinga!
And he's not doing that on the social.
Ravi says could probably come into bowl, actually.
Yes, it is Malinga bowling to Roy, who has 25 off 20, rather pedestrian for him, but he's put that scoring rate a little higher by getting the ball on leg side. He could hit that wherever he fancied it, and where he fancied was backward square for one of these.
He says, besides Brearley, do you admire, as England captain, anyone in your memory more than Morgan? I don't think I'd use the word admire. For the word respect, I would say, as I said, I think Strauss and Hussain are certainly up there. If Vaughan had never opened his mouth after being captain, he'd have been up there as well.
Yeah, I think so. And I admire, I'll come back to it in a moment, because Malinga is on his way in. And he bowls, and standing up straight again is Jason Roy. Hits it to the man at short mid-wicket. There's an attempted throw at the stumps. I think Roy would have been in. He's quite sharp.
I'm not sure he would have been, you know.
No, I'm not. I mean, that was a literal short. It wasn't the man on the edge of the circle there. That was a short mid-wicket whose job it is to prevent that single. And that was a little bit tight.
We'll have a look now.
Well, we're going to have a look from side
2-1 says he was out if it hit. Have a look. It would have been... Ooh, close.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was Sadira, and it was.
I think his bat was in the air, but over the line when it would have past the stumps. Would have been interesting to see what happened when he hit.
Just speaking of England captains you admire, not in the sense of the career. I'll break off myself because Malinga is in and Morgan is just deflecting that ball down to third man, and they'll come back for 2. They are quick between the wickets, these two. He goes to 16, England to 61 for 2. I always admire KP after the outrages at Mumbai when he took England back just before Christmas, and England played that fantastic Test match in Chennai. And I think a lot of other England captains may have been either reluctant or dragged their feet. And I think Steve Harmison didn't go. Certainly Robert Croft didn't go. I think other England players would have pulled out, but he was very firm that they were going to go back and they were going to make good on their commitment. And I admire him for that. As Morgan plays a lovely block drive, but it hasn't got much power in it, and it's fielded by mid-on, running round to mid-off. And they're through for a single, 62 for 2. You know the one I mean?
That was after the bomb. That was after the
Mumbai attacks.
Yeah,
that was the Mumbai attacks, and they went back. The match was moved to Chennai, and they played it. And I think Tendulkar and Yuvraj Singh, got the put on 300 and odd in the 4th innings to win an all-time classic match.
Wasn't that when Sehwag went off an absolute train?
Yeah,
on
he made 70 odd,
4th evening, didn't he?
Yeah.
In about 15 overs, didn't he? Because and then they went
got
on to
about
win.
365, I think. So Malinga is in. It's a short, it's a slower ball, but Roy just lifts it to where there's always space in ODI cricket, which is over the head of short extra cover, and helps himself to another boundary off the last ball of an over.
They are one person, they are 2 alone, they are 3 together, they are 4 for each other.
And you absolutely must not give Jason Roy any opportunity to free his arms.
No.
Sahil, good question. What's the DL pass score, or do 20 overs have to be completed as this is an ODI? My guess would be the latter.
Yeah, definitely so. 20 overs, both sides have to face 20 overs.
Yeah, in any case, England, I think, would be comfortably ahead on any comparison.
There will be a Duckworth Lewis pass score.
In
though.
fact,
not before the 20 overs.
Oh no, they have them up from the first over in T20.
Right, that's T20.
Yeah, but this is actually an ODI, isn't it?
I still think they'll probably have it because it's only an algorithm. They just go back, don't they, on the algorithm and find it. I mean, I probably think England's about 10 ahead. Would be my guess. As this is another down the leg side wide, attempted sweep from Owen Morgan, but he'll have to bowl it again, and England advance to 67 for 2.
And we'll let the debate about greatest England captains continue online, but I think we all agree that Owen Morgan deserves a huge amount of respect, and the coach as well. I mean, he's had some input too. I know there are some people in this parish who don't want to give the coach any credit at all, but
just a ball on the leg stump that's just been touched round to the man coming in from the square leg boundary, and they walk an agreed single.
Well, there is no Duckworth Lewis up on
it's remarkably
Crick Info.
It's remarkably difficult to find Duckworth Lewis. It's somehow kept to be some kind of state secret in the media, but most grounds have it sort of along the bottom of the scoreboard, and it is a really excellent indicator as to the state of the
game,
balance of the game, I should say. It's a leg break, and Jason Roy just gives himself room and says, I'll have a piece of that, and knocks it 10 rows back.
Lovely shot.
Having been struck by the bats, the ball pitches beyond the boundary. It's a 6.
Yes, it was hit back over the bowler's head, slightly fading, like a kind of deliberate fade golf shot or a bit of a slice. But Roy goes to 40 from 24 deliveries. Akila is now gone for 22 and is in his 3rd over. And Roy does that thing that I know Triple H ball and its merits, but I do like it. Takes the easiest possible single to mid on or to long on, and he goes to 41.
TQ asks, is there not a website or an app that gives you all the Duckworth Lewis data? There probably is.
Yeah, there probably is.
Round the wicket comes Akila, and Morgan this time lifts it over extra
Yeah,
cover.
that's very comfortable.
Yeah, just one bounce for 4, and England fairly suddenly, really, just looked to be cruising. It's you think that the shot over extra cover would be practiced more and played more, because it's the easiest place to hit a boundary in most white ball cricket. You know, you give yourself a little bit of room. You have to hit slightly inside out, but once you lift it, you're almost guaranteed the boundary, because there's never anyone remotely near extra cover. Sweeper and long off is the closest you get. But this ball is hit to mid-wicket, where there's a bit of poor fielding there, which allows a single. It was on one of the other pitches, though, so maybe there is an excuse for the fielder. But that over has gone already
still a ball left,
for 14, I think.
Well, this is what when you're already winning a game, and then you get a big over for 15. I mean, England have already got it down to less than a run a ball.
Yeah. And it should
be a bit of a train from here. Yeah,
it should be a little bit of a vegan cakewalk. Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to say vegan. So Roy, the king of England's upper order, is beaten by a ball that slides past the leg stump, and bizarrely, Alim Dar has not given that as a wide, which
flicked a pad.
I think he flicked the pad.
There was an appeal from the male grooming product himself, Dick Weller, but there was no catch. But it was a decent bit of keeping, actually, to get to it. England 84-2. Roy has 41, Morgan has 23, and do we have some tweets?
Yeah, Peter Lloyd says it may be a theoretical question, but are they considering a review? Surely they've been too long by now. No, they're not going to do it.
Just having a conflab, aren't they?
I think they are, actually.
Anyway, saying that after 8 overs...
it is a review.
It's a bloody review. It ain't mad.
After 8 overs, DLS would have been 50, so there you go. No, that's hit his back pad.
It's flicked his front pad
actually,
there, but it's going down. Surely.
No, it's I guess you're technically you can review for anything.
No, yeah.
But I'm sure the intention is for caught behind.
No, I don't think so. I think they're going for LBW.
Really?
Yeah. So I think it's a really poor shot.
Yeah, Ultra Edge is not showing anything in terms of bat or glove. I mean, sometimes it can be a little bit of glove that's obviously very, very hard to see, particularly when it's still allowed to wear white gloves in white ball cricket, which I find is wrong. Oh, extraordinary!
Oh, no.
Well, I have literally never seen anything like that in my life, because the ball is shown to be hitting. And believe it or not, Alim Dar, who seldom has to reverse a decision, has to take his not out, make it an out, and Jason Roy has gone LBW to Aponzo. He's as bemused as any of us, because that looked like it was going a long way down the leg side, but there you are. You live or die by the sword, and he's just given his own opinion there as Jason Roy.
It's that flick of the front pad that I think has deceived us a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's just going straight onto hit leg stump, isn't it? Anyway.
Well, he got past 35, Gary.
He did, not much past 35. It's Akila who is the successful bowler, and a fine bit of reviewing there by, I think Dick Weller seemed to be the man who was calling the review there. I'm sure that the captain Chandimal had the final say, but Dick Weller was the man who was most convinced from behind the stumps. I'm not sure the bowler was all that convinced. It still looks a bit wrong to me, but you're right. Maybe it's that front pad is
often the slight deflection off the pad makes it look like it's going much further, but actually it is the line from when it's supposedly going to hit the pad. So the deflection makes you think, oh, it's going miles down leg side, and it's only a slight deflection. So at first it looks like the ball's just veering down there, but actually it's taking it off the straight by the deflection, and therefore, you know, if it's going on to hit the stumps.
Well, it brings us closer to a bit of Butler ball, but I think we're going to get Stokes ball first.
We haven't seen much Stokes ball recently.
No, well, as the neutral point of view, is that is at least going to make the game more interesting. Tell that to Jason Roy, but there you go.
And in comes the new bowler, and this is defended by EOIN Morgan. I'd have sent Butler in, they've sent Stokes in. I'd have gone with the right-left combination, kept that going, but two left-handers are in now.
Well, that does mean you're guaranteed a right-left combination next time.
Yep.
It does, but less less balls available. So it's Pradeep, I'm sure, is the bowler. It is Pradeep, and this is cut by Morgan, and he does play that shot well. So many left-handers do. Slightly squats down on it and gets it past the left hand of the sprawling backward point and past the right hand of a sprawling sweeper on the fence. He does hit those gaps well. He gets one of these for his troubles.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Nick Martin tells us, quote, technically you can review anything, end quote, Shane Watson's epitaph. Poor old Watto, better stats than Andrew Flintoff, and all he gets is review bants.
Yeah, and Pradeep bowls a slower ball, and Morgan gets a bottom edge on that. He seems to slightly lose sight of that. Or
I think it bounced into the ground, didn't know where it had gone.
Yeah, it pulled out of the, certainly pulled out of the shot. It goes down in the book as a single, a strike rotating single. He goes to 28, and Ben Stokes will face up for the first time.
I think we should have this jingle for Stokes.
Ben?
I'm going to segue into the bowler.
Ben Stokes.
They changed the tolerances, haven't they? On
yeah, I'm still looking at that, and it still suggests the ball is going to slightly straighten, and I don't think it was. I think if anything, it was going the other way.
No, I don't think it's. I don't think it's straightening. I think it's just going straight on with the arm.
Calibration is perfect there, but I mean that's the equivalent of saying it could be rogue operators or something. I'm merely guessing. As Stokes plays a beautiful shot, gives the full maker's name, back foot drive through mid-on, and the timing must have been absolutely perfect, and a big grin on Stokes' face, because he won't time many as well as that one. All the way to the fence.
No, seriously, on a wicket where a few players have struggled to time the ball, that's his first ball. He's literally just dead batted it. Between the bowler, well, the bowler might have done a bit better there actually, but between the bowler and mid-on.
The bowler is this man. I love this jingle.
Stokes knocks it to mid-on this time as another misfield, and they jog an easy single. England 90 for 3. One ball of the 10th over to come. One ball of my spell of ball by bowling. Indeed, my spell here. As Pradeep is in, it's a slower ball, but Morgan timed that one quite well. Played it with the vertical bat, but they walk an easy single to the man sweeping on the point boundary. England 91 for 3. They are some 60 runs short of their target, and they have 11 overs to get them. Are we going to have a relief in here?
You want people come in? Anybody? Anybody?
Is there anybody out there?
Is there anybody
So
out
60
there?
runs from 66 balls. England should do that 9 times out of 10, 19 times out of 20. What are we saying?
Well, do you want to hop in that seat and just go out there and get someone, and I'll stay here. I don't mind staying here.
I would have said around that, Gary. Yes, at least 90% of the time England should get home from here. It's Nestle Boy going to come back in on your tweets.
And you're going to move into a commentary, and I'm going to sit here and tell you that...
Is that your tea cozy, Gary?
Hey, thanks very much for listening. I'll be back
It's been
later
under
in the
Gary's arse for the last 10 minutes. So.
Oh, Gary, on your way back, could you pass that bottle of wine that's half open in there? Oh, that's a dot ball. We didn't switch over in time. Left alone by
run
Morgan.
around it. It's Aquila, not to be confused with Amila, as I did earlier on. Down the track comes Morgan, up to long off, and that'll be a single. It's 92 for 3. England, of course, have an extra bonus over to get these runs.
They do indeed. I forgot about that. Yeah, but it could be, double wobble.
Could be
Aquila.
crucial.
Have a jingle. No, there's one over by the boiler. Oh, no, Gary, it's in the fridge.
Lights are on in Palikelly, and the lights are very much on here as it's a cold, dark, miserable, horrible South London evening. But it's very bright. Here, can you hear me, Bear?
Yeah, I can hear you. You just got
you're not
probably
plugged in.
trod on the
Anyway, Stokes
Headphone
played that
cable.
one up too long off himself for another single. He's 93 for 3. Halfway through these 21 overs, and England have a lot more than half the runs. They need another 59 in 63 balls, with 7 wickets in hand. Looks fairly comfortable. You just need to plug something in there, I think. Nestlers. Yeah. Have I just broken it? It's played up to long on by Morgan, and it's another single. Hang on a minute. It looks okay.
No, it's gone again.
Is that supposed to be plugged into something?
No,
that's not.
It's back on now.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, okay.
It wasn't a mic, it's your headphones, isn't it? I may have to get another cable. Another thing to spend money on. Which is why we need your help. Come, go to Patreon.
Actually, speaking of that tweet from
Ashari.
Ashari, yes. Anyway, down the track comes Stokes again, but he had to defend that one back to the bowler. Good piece of bowling, there's no run.
Ashari Asman Shah, 12 of my precious dollars have gone into the Gorilla Cricket bank account.
Why, thank you very much.
Ashari, you are the star tweeter of the day.
Yes, that's all it takes to be star tweeter of the day.
$12.
Give us money. Full ball clipped into the leg side by Stokes. Pereira's misfielded, so they may pick up an extra run. Indeed, they do fairly comfortably. That's -1 to the fielder. England done 96 for 3 off 11. They need 55 from 60 balls.
Should do that.
Should do that fairly comfortably. That would put them 2-0 up with 2 to play. In this ODI.
Yeah,
this is
ODIs.
the third, yeah.
Oh,
The
God,
first
it is
was
the third.
rained off.
Totally rained off, wasn't it? Yeah.
The second was one on DLS, and providing the rain doesn't come back again, there's been no sign since they started. Well, if there is any threat of raining, they should crack on with it, really.
Yeah.
Because, as I say, we don't think they're going to be bailed out by DLS in this one, because, of course, it is still technically an ODI.
It is still technically. I mean, they could be bailed out if they went off in the 21st, last over of the game, I suppose.
Window, yeah.
There's a 6-ball window for DLS to
it
come
really
to play.
shouldn't go to the 21st over from here.
No, you'd hope not anyway.
Did I miss something? Was the Stern new?
Relatively.
Yes, I think Stern got added into...
it's probably about 10 years ago or something.
Who is Stern now then?
He's obviously a mate of Duckworth and Lewis.
Someone who updated it.
He's updated it, has he?
I think it was also needed to... They had to update it for T20, didn't they? Because it was getting ridiculous DLSs.
You have to continually tweak it, yeah, according to what's happening. Danajaya comes back in, right arm around the wicket. Back goes Morgan. Even though it's quite a full ball, plays it up to long off for a single.
And are Duckworth and Lewis still around?
I believe so.
Are they still active in the
field of mathematics, probably?
Yeah.
Weren't there a couple of...
How did they get the gig in the first place? Did they just
I think they came up with it, but I don't think anyone asked them to do it.
I can come up with something in my bedroom. It doesn't mean they're
no,
going to start using the Ward method.
Exactly. But I think they were...
Stokes... another shoddy bit of fielding, but a good bit of backing up by his mate. Stokes played that out to wide, long on, let the ball through his legs and his hands, but luckily his mate from mid-wicket was covering him like a good backup fielder should, and saved 2 runs.
I believe there are either a couple of cricket-loving cricket professors,
statisticians,
maths professors or physics professors, and they decided to come up with a way of sorting it out.
That one's punched up to long off by Stokes. He goes on to 11. It's 100 up for England, 100 for 3.
Any Chave?
I think it was prompted by that 92 debacle
Farrago.
with South Africa. Was it South Africa? Or?
It was South Africa.
It was
yes.
yeah.
Any Chave has got a butler duvet set with matching curtains and carpet.
I don't even want to think about it. It probably does.
So's
onto
grubby.
the back foot goes Morgan. Clips it out to deep cover. Diving stop. Should be a comfortable 2. Is indeed just toying with the field here, England. Morgan on to 34.
England have been much better at this part of the game, haven't they? Getting the one boundary and over. And
yes,
still
Sri Lanka.
manoeuvring the ball.
England bowled well, to be fair, but Sri Lanka really struggled between sort of 5
really bogged
and 15.
down.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the singles and had dot balls everywhere.
But England have played spin as well. They've manipulated the crease, gone side to side. They didn't get a run off of that one, as Morgan plays it back to the bowler for no run.
Any more tweets, Nestle?
Not at the moment.
No, please, people, come on.
Everyone's kind of having tea.
Danajaya, back goes Morgan and can only chunk it into the ground. That's also no run, so 2 dot balls after we were praising their strike rotation. But never mind, they're still comfortably ahead.
Everyone's having egg on toast or shepherd's pie.
I've
or something.
rediscovered scrambled eggs recently.
You have?
Yeah.
What do you mean you've discovered them?
No,
They've been
rediscovered.
Oh,
I used to love them
rediscovered
when I was a kid, and then don't really haven't had them recently.
Oh, do you know the really good way of cooking them as well? In the microwave?
No, I don't like that.
Oh, no, it's fantastic.
No.
They taste better.
No.
Yeah. I'm an aficionado of the scrambled egg, mate.
I do a fine scrambled egg.
You put them in the microwave. It's brilliant.
No, I like cooking them. I do it with an egg whisk.
It's quick as well.
Yeah, well, I imagine it's a bit quicker.
Like about a minute.
No, it doesn't take that long for 2 eggs in a pan, let's be honest.
Yeah, but you have to get the pan out and you have to put
Must
stuff
have
in.
food
You have to
in
turn it
1
on.
minute.
Yeah.
You have to do that and do this and do that.
It's the man who bowled so well in the last game and has been going around the park today. It's Malinga, 2 overs for 29 so far today.
Blimey.
She asked me why I'm just a hairy guy.
He's going to come round.
Malinga!
Yes, thank you. He's now going to come round the wicket, so instead of his hand coming above middle stump, it's going to come almost above the edge line. Technical term there, but that one's played down to third man for a single by Morgan.
Ah.
You don't see Malinga come round the wicket very often, understandably with that action.
Duckworth-Lewis method was devised by 2 English statisticians. I knew I'd be able to say that.
Statisticians.
That's it. Frank Duckworth and Tony Lewis. After their retirements, Professor Stephen Stern became the custodian of the method. Thank you, messages. And that was from Wikipedia.
Well, again, but how do they get it accepted? I
know.
You know, I presume they just sent it to someone.
Wow.
Flashing cut by Morgan. Again, Malinga really has been struggling today. And Gully might have been a little bit in the game, but it would have needed a Ben Stokes-like catch, and it was too quick for him.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And Kelly Wheeler points out, she goes, I thought Duckworth and Lewis were playing in a band these days.
Well, there is the Duckworth-Lewis band. Habib Khan on Cricket Tracker says hi. Hi to you.
Hello.
What's going to happen to them? They're going to have to change their name.
They become the Stern method.
Well, they're going to have to add Stern to it, aren't they?
The band.
See you later.
See you, Gary.
You have to find someone called Stern.
That's the
to
guy
join
from
the band.
what was he from? What band? Divine Comedy.
Divine
wasn't
Comedy. Yeah, they're good. They were good.
Malinga round the wicket again. I think that just gives too much width from that angle. But Morgan can't get that one away. Back to the bowler for no run.
107 for 3.
Yeah, it's a bit last throw of the dice from Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
It's coming up the wrong way for them.
Well, England have got this in the bag, haven't they? Should they?
You'd have thought so.
What have they got? 9 overs?
8.5 overs to
and a
get to
half.
44. And that rate required is getting lower and lower. Malinga again. Up to the crease and covered up that time by Morgan. And up to extra cover for no run.
It's 1-4 off this over though, isn't it? But they need one more single and they're pretty much up with the rate.
Single and a 4, and
Yeah.
that is all they need.
Yeah, that is all they need, that's true.
Just wait for the ball that's a little bit too short or a little bit too full, and have the width to carve that away.
It's a bit damp out there, isn't it? I wonder if it's dewy. I imagine it's very humid at the moment
it is.
around that part of the world.
Well, Morgan just let loose a load of sweat from inside his
Yeah.
helmet when he hit that 4, didn't he? Gallons of it.
Malinga sweating a bit too, I should think. Fuller ball, and Morgan again just defends up to extra cover. Big full maker's name of the bat, and there's no run.
Blimey, Kelly Wheeler says, on the subject of perfectly cooked eggs, get your hands on an inexpensive sous vide circulator. Pure joy.
What?
Sous, S-O-U-S. Vide, V-I-D-E. Vide.
Circulator.
Circulator.
What does that cook the perfect scrambled eggs?
Pure
automatically.
Joy, it says here.
Circulated eggs.
So obviously we need a bit more, Kelly. A bit more.
Vegans don't eat eggs, do they?
Nope.
Nope.
Malinga comes in. No, I've had plenty of eggs in my time. Thank you. That's played a backward point, and there is no run.
You were aware of the egg.
I am cognizant of the egg.
I just couldn't go down that route.
What?
Veganism.
I'm on the verge of vegetarianism.
And getting tweeters complaining about us talking it all about it all the
sorry.
time. And that's I'm never the one who brings it up.
I know. I just miss too much food.
Well, there's plenty of food out there.
Yeah, I know.
To eat.
I do like a good dal, that has to be said, but I don't think I'm going to live on that for the rest of my life.
I went out the other night.
Can you eat bread?
Sure.
Okay.
I had a vegetarian curry the other night, and I didn't miss the meat at all.
No, the problem is I don't really hate tomatoes, and a lot of food is tomato-based sauces and stuff.
You don't like
curries.
tomatoes?
I fucking hate tomatoes.
What you can't eat pizza?
Yeah, that's what you know.
Ooh,
Too much tomato.
outside
I don't
edge from
like.
Stokes. That one to Danajai. A little bit of interest there for the bowler. It squirts out to gully, and there is no run.
Sahil wants to know what's our opinion of the Zanzi Super League. Is it just a global T20 league with a different name? The Durban Heat
Sounds
Squad.
like it. Oh, Stokes hammers that back of the bowler. He does a bit of a comedy. So it bounced off, but I think that was catchable. It bounced up off his shoulder, went straight up in the air. Unfortunately, the bowler was too busy going, ow, bloody hell, that hurt, and he didn't see the ball, which looped up in a catchable way. He's also in. We're laughing at him, but he seems to be in some pain. It might have caught him just on the joint of the shoulder. He's hit that with full force by Ben Stokes.
And you don't want
to get in the way of one of them, do you?
He couldn't get out of the way, really.
Was it a bump ball? Or did it?
No,
it was a
straight
catch.
back at him. It's
and
off his hand, onto the top of the shoulder, so right up in the air, but he's facing completely the other way. Again, you'd have had to have been very aware and quick.
Would have been a hell of a catch.
Catch that one.
I mean,
and he's already got his hand half strapped up, so that doesn't help either.
It's one of these days on Twitter where people are sending me tweets that I can't
understand.
pronounce. Well,
it's been a long day.
Badshar of Dublin says, why not consider adding ham and cheese to your eggs on toast for a yutz mixture? Yutz mixture.
Cheese and what? Ham? Yeah, I mean...
What's that? What's a yutz mixture?
I don't know. It's probably...
some egg, cheese and ham thing.
UITSMIJTER. Yutz.
Maybe his phone's gone autocorrect crazy.
Oh, Ed Benson's with us. Ed! Ed!
We've got a
How are you?
We've got a long break as this injury's been treated. So
well,
this is
a good tweet. Sous vide is cooking in a water bath. Controls the temperature so you can bring the food up to X degrees exactly. No overlooking, undercooking, but too much faff and effort for me, to be honest. You can make amazing scrambled eggs in bain marie.
Yeah.
But takes forever. What's bain marie?
Bain marie is when you do it. That's the thing that you stick over like a steamer. It's like a steamer.
Oh, okay.
It's quite funny in explaining one French cooking term, Ed has replaced it with another French cooking term that we also don't understand.
And Gerrit Dusseldorp says, no need to go vegan at once.
That's true.
Just sticking to pork and chicken leads to huge reduction in carbon footprint. Just stay away from methane farting, cud chewing cows and sheep.
Yeah.
I don't eat sheep.
Oh, I love a lamb.
I hate lamb. I hate lamb.
Unica Bonnie Amin says, all of you looked cool. Please reply. Hello, mate. Cheers.
And Nick Martin says, it's the egg opposite of the microwave. Talking about the sous vide. Is it vide?
See,
I
a shoulder of lamb with a fat on a lamb. Oh, man, you can't eat that on a
can't
Sunday.
eat them.
Oh, that's good, man.
Can't eat it.
Oh, lamb chops are good too, barbecued.
Can't eat them.
I'm getting hungry.
Danajai looks like a bit of a lamb compared to Ben Stokes. Throws that one down the leg side. A poor piece of fielding at square leg is going to allow them to pick up at least 2. And they comfortably do get round for 2. It's 109 for 3 in the 14th over.
42 runs needed to win from 45 balls. It's getting to that stage of the day.
It is a bit, but we're grateful to have any cricket at all. It didn't look very... the completed match was 20-1 at one point, so I hope you got some of that if you like betting on that market.
Oh, yeah.
And here comes Danajai. Down the wicket, Stokes hits him on the pad.
Get back.
He does get back.
Your Wally.
Didn't we see... Was that in the test match? We saw a decision that was basically hitting straight and hitting the stumps, but it wasn't given out because the batsman was 3 metres down the track.
Yes, that was earlier today.
Yeah, seems like a long time ago now. Danajai comes in again. Short ball, perhaps expecting Stokes to come down.
Wow.
Stokes stayed at home, hammered it out to deep mid-wicket, but straight to the fielder, so it's just 1.
Badshar of Dublin says, no autocorrect involved. It's Dutch. Pronunciation, Utsmiter. Outsmiter.
And it means what? Cheese, ham and egg toasting?
Yeah, I think so. Kelly Wheeler says, perfect lamb, sous vide it. Am I saying that correctly?
Sous vide everything.
Yeah.
Back goes Morgan, and that's up to long off.
I'm going to look it
single.
up. My friend Ray's listening. Hello, Ray.
Hello, Ray. You all right, mate?
He said, no tomatoes, really? Give me a call, picky boy. He wants to meet up for a beer later. That'd be nice. I'll be in touch later.
England,
111 for 3.
111 for 3. I'm going to keep my feet on the ground. Screw you, David Shepherd.
Yeah,
and
you're
England
fucked.
have 7 overs to get 40 runs.
Okay, it's a water thing.
Not like an umpire to be.
It's a water cooker, yeah. So
for no reason.
I tell you what I did do. You know, my daughter said, "I want to cook some fudge," and I was like, "Oh Christ!" This was a while back. It's after last Christmas, and I was like, I remember trying to cook toffee when I was a kid, and sugar is really temperature sensitive. So she made me get a sweet making thermometer.
Bowler, unidentified bowler comes in, clipped out into the leg side by Morgan, at least one. They don't go for 2. It is Pradeep come back in, 112 for 3.
And then we got a fudge recipe offline, and we cooked some fudge with and if you get and literally, you know, 5 degrees here, 5 degrees there, you get the wrong product that you don't want.
Yeah, it all sticks together. Or
Yeah. It all goes rock hard, solid. In the case of toffee, you burn the sugar, but mate, really good fudge. It was actually really bloody tasty.
Scotty has sorted me out. She says Sue is pronounced Sue as in the name. Thank you. Okay. And
Pradeep, false start. He goes back to his mark.
Knuckles with us. Someone worked out what SA would have needed under Duckworth Lewis in that semi-final, 4 to tie, 5 to win. There's a rival method called VJD being used in Indian domestic cricket this year.
Short ball. Stokes missed it. Hits him in the lower rib region, but it's gone nowhere, so they can jog through for a slightly uncomfortable single for Ben Stokes.
It has a few differences to Duckworth Lewis Stern, but seems to be about as effective. And Ed Benson says, great to hear you all, by the way, as I plough through a mountain of documents. That's what happens when you do law. Bain-Marie equals a double boiler. Put a bowl on top of a pan of boiling water, no touching. Steam heat.
Yep.
Steam heats the bowl and very gentle cooking.
Cooking equivalent of a double guitar.
That's what you cook dim sum with. Hello, Poppy.
Hello, Pop.
Hi, Popster.
The second S is silent, pronounced sous vide. There you go. Everyone's telling me about Sue now.
Yeah.
I'm done. Don't tweet any more about Sue.
Yeah, Pradeep comes in. Length ball, played down towards backward point by Morgan. Picks it up and there's no run.
Every time I come on Guerrilla Cricket, I do learn at least one thing that I didn't know before I came here.
There you go.
If it's not something to do with Latin or
do you remember
politics or history or cooking or sport, I do tend to lodge it in my brain somewhere.
Which removes something useful for your brain. Pushes, you forget how to drive or something, pushes it out like Homer Simpson. Pradeep in again, down the track goes Morgan, but he plays it down to point. They've got a chance of a run out, but Stokes is through very quickly. And also a good piece of backing up from the fielders.
I assume Ed's gone over to Canada. He's doing law over in Canada.
Yeah, he's gone to Toronto, is that right?
That's right, yep.
I don't know if he's been down the Bovine Sex Club yet.
Do let us know when you do, Ed.
It's a great bar.
Give
it
us
really
a
is.
Trip report.
What goes on at the Bovine Sex Bar?
A lot of heavy rock and sort of loud music and a lot of drinking.
Is there any Bovine Sex?
No.
Damn.
No idea why it's called that. But it's just the actual look of the bar is incredible as well. It's just one of those places where you just don't forget once you've been there.
As indeed, if you know Ben Stokes,
we got that one.
You won't forget that one. That's a lovely shot.
Oh, that's
lovely.
lovely.
Across his stumps, bit of touch from Ben Stokes and just flicks it over first slip for 6 if first slip was there.
Mark would fit in right in the Bovine Sex Club.
Ball just tailing in towards leg stump. Stokes stepped well across to the leg side as they do and just flicked it over the offside. Lovely shot.
I don't like those shots.
I wouldn't much want to play them, no.
I know
Still, you've got a helmet. Where else is it going to hit you?
Well, I know they're highly talented, but it just seems to me just asking to mess up.
Stokes isn't bothered by that kind of thing. He's down the track, but that was a shorter ball and he can only play it into the ground, but it kind of takes the pace off it and they can get through for another single.
And Badshar of Dublin has sent us a visual example of the cheese on the egg toast ham and cheese, which looks rather
tasty.
It's tasty after a night out on the piss.
Yeah.
That kind of food.
Do you have it on toast? Can you have it on toast?
It's on toast.
Oh, sweet.
I think it's on toast.
Oh, perfect.
It just looks like a kind of a...
Stuff on toast is,
there you go.
Instant meal. Oh, that looks
egg,
good.
Toast.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay, yeah.
Toast is an all-round good food, isn't it?
Yeah, universal.
You put everything on it.
more toast.
Sweet, you can put like, you know, jam, you can put savoury.
Here comes Dhananjaya, and that's a straight ball. Morgan plays it past his right hand, and they'll pick up another single. Stokes, rather.
All right, it's the best I've seen Stokes bat for ages, isn't it?
We could get a change in here, technically, if anyone wants to come in before the end of this game.
There's only the Hendopoulos left, isn't there?
Is there any
And the rest all melted into the night.
Yeah, they have. Hendo, you ought to come in and do the last 5 overs.
Dhananjaya, that one's played up to long off by Morgan, a comfortable single.
I don't mind just sitting here. Whoever, if either of these two want to take a break and Hendo wants to come in, I'm quite happy to sit here till the end of the game.
Yeah, well, I'll come off ball by ball. You want to come do ball by ball, Hendo?
He's going to come in
and finish us all off.
Finish us off.
And how are you going to do that, Hendo?
Dhananjaya dives, stops it. They go for a run. No, they don't. And there are, yes, 3 balls left in the over, so we do the end of the over. England are 123 for 3. They need 28 runs to win from 33 balls. And in this rarely spotted 21 over game, but don't forget, it's an ODI. Down the leg side, Stokes clips it out towards deep mid wicket. Will pick up a comfortable single. And England all set to go 2-0 up in this series.
With 2-0 up, 2 to play.
2 up with 2 to play. Dormy 2.
How many T20s are there? One T20.
There's only one T20, and then we'll start the 5 a.m. test matches. Good luck with those.
4:30.
Played into... Back goes Morgan, plays out to deep mid wicket for a single. But so I don't... Well, actually, I think I'm down for the T20, actually. I think I might see you then. Yeah.
I don't... I prefer games starting at 4:30 in the morning than ones that I have to... No, ones that start at midnight.
Yeah.
Because I can get by on about 4 hours sleep and do a day and feel fine.
Down the track comes Stokes. Bowler sees him coming, pulls it short, but he's able to clip it up to long on anyway. Comfortable 2. Not the best piece of fielding. And we're doing some India West Indies as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm starting on Saturday with
the ODI series.
Yeah, ODI series.
The boy Benson has tweeted a picture of himself by Niagara Falls. He's yet to go to the Bovine Sex Club.
He's calling up to someone at the top of the falls and they can hear him perfectly. Anyway, that's 16 overs. I'm done for today. Thank you for your company. And Hendo and the Bear and Nestle will take you home.
Okie dokie.
Take you home.
Country road. That's been in a lot of films recently.
Has it?
Yeah. It's in, what's that, Terminator? Not the last Aliens one.
Take Me Home Country Roads in the Terminator?
No, it was also in something else.
Nick Martin says, at said club, do they use CJD method? Plenty of places to get VD around these places. I'd definitely be reviewing that.
Malinga's back on. It's a bit of a lost cause, I think, for Sri Lanka here. 127 for 3 England. He's coming round the wicket, bowling to Morgan, bowling a slower one right up in the block hole, but slightly directed into the feet rather than straight at the wicket. Defended into the offside, and there is no run.
They've still got the option. They don't have to nominate who bowls the extra special 5th over until the last minute.
Well,
really,
presumably not. No, no.
Seagrave Saab is with us. Says, good evening, men.
Hello.
I've been missing you guys since the Test series. What have I missed apart from rain and Radio MasterChef?
Well, you've missed the Asia Cup probably. Now looks to me as if Morgan was trying to work that onto the onside, got a bit of a leading edge, but it went all the way along the ground past Malinga up to mid-off. And there's no run. Malinga's gone for 34. He's in his 4th over now. So no repeat of his heroics from Saturday when he took 5.
Well, that's a different mindset, isn't it, when you got 4 or 5 overs
absolutely.
to 10 overs.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Outsmiter means bouncer, by the way, that bread thing, and it's on rye bread.
In again, Foolish on the legs. They'll get a single here. I think there was bat involved. Throw comes in, and it's a direct hit from not that far away, but Stokes seems comfortable.
I thought it went into Stokes, actually.
No, it hit the stumps. Bale came off.
Oh.
But he seemed comfortable enough.
Look at the back of his leg.
Incredible bright lights. That's what it is.
Right in your eyes.
Well, I was just chatting to a man called Howard, who's in the Turks and Caicos Islands and listening to us from there.
Oh.
And normally lives in Leeds, but he's out there, Yorkshire Cricket Club member. And it looked pretty hunky-dory in the Turks and Caicos Islands today.
Where Turks and Caicos?
It's sort of out there.
West Indies, isn't it?
It's out there in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Oh, thought you meant out in Sydney.
Sounds nice. I quite like. I mind you, it's hurricane season in the Caribbean at the moment.
Yeah, for a little bit longer. That's true. Yes. Malinga in again, round the wicket to Stokes, and Stokes, well, thinks about working that, but it's well wide of the leg stump, and so he leaves it alone and gets a wide for his trouble.
Aren't they one of these offshore territories that don't have tax and stuff, Turks and Caicos?
I suspect there is some of that
a little
going
bit
on.
of that going on,
I think a lot of Americans
Oh dear.
move there.
Nick Martin says, I prefer leg rye bread. I'll get my coat.
Oh, that is appalling.
Malinga into Stokes, and Stokes waits for this and then drills it to the edge of the circle. The extra cover cannot prevent him coming through for 1. He moves to 28. Morgan has 43. England are 130 for 3. They need another 21 to win.
Get your coat, Nick. It's on the peg by the landing.
Let's have a look at those figures.
Get out.
Malinga's gone for 36 with 2 balls remaining of his 4th over. Aponzo 2 for 16 from 3. Very impressive from him. Akila 1 for 33. The other Dhananjaya to Silva, 4 overs, no maidens, none for 23. And Pradeep, just the 2 overs for 21. Here's Malinga staying round the wicket to Morgan, and Morgan drives a ball that's given him width outside off stump, and that's gone racing out to deep backward point. Fielder did quite well in the end to slide round, stop the ball, and actually prevent his foot going into the contacting the sponge while he had the ball in his hands. And so there's just the single, was it? No, 2. In fact, it goes to 45, Morgan.
Well, Nalinda Dipal on Cricket Tracker says Sri Lankan score not enough to depend on. Again, poor selection by politics henchmen.
Well, there's a lot of talk about that.
Politics henchmen.
Politics getting in the way of cricket selection once again.
Well, there's a surprise.
They've got henchmen in it.
He's in again, bowls a full toss, which is driven low on the bat, up to long off. And Morgan keeps the strike. 133 for 3. England have 4 overs in which to get the remaining 18 runs
I must say,
to win.
I don't really know what's going on in Sri Lankan cricket at the moment. I don't hear much about it. I don't read much about it, but it doesn't sound good.
No, it hasn't been good. I mean, the selection process has been curious. I mean, we had the controversy of Angelo Matthews being dropped for this series. Talk about the fact that he's not fit enough, or he runs out too many of his teammates, and strange things to put into the public domain, really. And of course, I think I was looking back, and they'd had something like 17 presidents of Sri Lanka cricket since 1995, which kind of shows you the sort of lack of stability. Murali said a few things about what was going on. There's also talk about the domestic structure has changed, and it's not producing the players to replace the likes of Sangakkara and Jayawardene.
I looked at the population the other day. It's about 20 million or something.
Yeah, it's a big place really.
Yeah, get a decent team together and all cricket mad.
Well,
not as much as volleyball.
Well,
Pradeep continues. Is it Pradeep? Or is it Perara? It's a lovely shot from Stokes. Chopped it backward a square, and they've come through for 2. He moves to 28. England 135 for 3, doing this with something to spare, with plenty left in the tank. No wonder they were so keen to get out there, England, although the way that Sri Lanka went off in the first 4 overs of this game, you thought they might build a substantial total. As it was, England fought their way back. It's Pereira, muscular, bustling in, and chopped away in the air this time by Morgan. It would have cleared anyone in the line, and as it is, it's run down to third man for 4.
See you later, Andy.
Morgan has another 50, another one-day international 50, 52 from 45 balls. It's his 41st half-century to go with 1100s. Man who's already scored over 6,000 runs in one-day international cricket. Must be coming up to 6,000 runs for England.
Got to be
too far behind.
Well, got to be Ireland's best cricketer, isn't he?
Well, you've got to say that.
And
50 runs. You're 50 runs. Well done, well done. Well done, well done. 50 runs. You're 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
I have to say, in this case, it's pretty much
Done.
nearly over. As he clips this one away off his legs, dead square, out to the boundary for another single.
They fucking occupy his game anyway.
It is. 53 he now has. And the Sri Lankan crowd
We can see you sneaking out.
Yeah.
We can see you sneaking out.
Disappointment for them. Pereira into Stokes, and Stokes launches into this off the back foot. Will probably get a single to Aquila. Sorry, it's not Aquila, it's Dananjaya de Silva there at extra.
Can I just say something to Nalinda DePal? He says, thanks for taking my comment, gentlemen. That's what we're open for. We have Twitter. You can contact us anytime at all. Contact us on Facebook. Not smiley faces. Oh, well, smiley faces are fine, but if you want to say anything to us seriously and have points, we'll
Like
always welcome to take them.
Stokes are down the wicket and drives this one up to long off. I think about a second, but good piece of fielding. Throw comes in quickly. 141 for 3, 10 required with 3.1 overs left to go.
Ashan Ulla Paracha Hamded. I hope I don't be insulted, please, by the way I pronounce your names. Sri Lanka team badly missing Sangha and Mahela, obviously. I mean, that's a big miss.
Cutter this time from Pereira. I'm not sure whether that came off the pad. I think it did. Yeah, it's going to be signalled as a leg by, as that goes fine on the onside.
Nick Martin wants to know, are we having a fire drill? I don't think we've nominated fire marshals, have we?
We should do, really.
And there is no signage up. So
yeah, there's no signage. There is a fire alarm.
Which way do we run?
I don't know.
Down the stairs and out. Or you can dive out the window.
Dive out the fucking window.
20 yards up. Yes, like that. Might not be so good for you.
20 yards. It's about 6 probably.
If I was going to do a fire evacuation plan, that wouldn't be my first choice.
This is what happens when we invite facilities managers into the commentary seats.
Yeah.
They start going, where's your arrows?
There's no signage.
No arrows.
Our friend Hassan also says Morgan is in good form nowadays. He goes up and down in ODIs, but he had a really good Champions Trophy, didn't he? Except for that game we lost to Pakistan. And he has been on since then. And I think some of us, I mean, I was particularly thinking previous to the Champions Trophy last year, or the year, when was it? It wasn't last year.
Yeah, it was. There was talk about him losing the position,
yeah,
wasn't
exactly,
it?
because he was just not getting runs, but
and there was talk,
he's been done all right.
Yeah, and there was talk about him being, there as a good captain anyway. Aponzo is it into the attack, and he bowls a horrible full toss, which Morgan flaps away through extra cover for 4 runs.
2 + 2 is a man.
Stewie Burley says the chap towards the back is clearly suffering with trapped wind. He's even pointing towards the offending area of distress. I sincerely hope he's being looked after properly.
What?
I don't quite know who he means. Who looks like one of us looks like we've got trapped wind.
Well, I can say my wind isn't trapped. It's been fine, and I've been quite happy with it.
Mine always leaves easily anyway.
Works through mid-wicket. The last thing we need to worry about here is trap wind. I can tell you that.
Mine doesn't get trapped; it escapes.
147 for 3. It's 11:30 at night in Sri Lanka.
Jesus
it feels like
Christ.
that here, to be honest.
England only need 4 runs to win.
They do. They need one good hit.
It's going to be
one good hit away from victory.
A monumental moment in the history of English
Keeler
cricket.
in. Down the wicket comes Stokes. He's not bothered with the 4. He's hit a very flat, straight 6. There is a man at long off, but he can't get across to it. It's a maximum to end it from Ben Stokes. England 153 for 3. They win by 7 wickets.
Maximum.
So there we go.
There you go. Bizarre day in the Guerrilla Cricket Towers pantheon.
Well, you've had 2 sessions of Pakistan-Australia. You've had 42, or no, not quite 42 overs, 40 odd overs of one-day international cricket. What more could you ask for?
Indeed.
I mean, did you get that on the Cricket Social? Did you get that on TalkSport?
No, you
didn't.
Bollocks, as far
you
as
didn't get any of that. So this is where to come if you want
everything.
A full gamut of
and now we
experiences.
Have, exactly, and we're expanding too. We've got Guerrilla Cricket South Africa.
Yep.
They'll be covering the Australia-South Africa one-day internationals through the night. They'll begin to realise what we've been suffering for the last 4 years.
Exactly.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, I do too. I'm looking forward to what the hell did you been doing?
Yeah. Hang on, how did this work?
How did you do it? Yeah. They're also going to be covering Pakistan and South Africa over the winter. Whilst we may be covering other stuff too.
They can buy speed in South Africa, right?
You're asking the wrong man. Yeah, 153 for 3. A very smiling Owen Morgan as he goes off there. He'll be very happy with a great day's work, great evening's work. delayed work, but England played very well.
Yeah, comfortable really in the end.
Yeah, it was another day in the office, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
afraid so.
bit like us, really.
Yeah, yeah. You'd want something a little bit more testing, wouldn't you? But you know, they're just doing a professional job, aren't they?
I mean, when we went on Sri Lanka, the first 4 overs, you thought, shit.
Yes, absolutely.
But then they got really England bowled really well, and they got themselves a bit tied down, didn't they?
And what you always feel with England is that, you know, unless they lose 7 or 8 wickets, they've just got so much in the bank.
Someone always pull something out.
There's so much talent there now, such big hitting talent.
Our friend Hassan says thank you for the reply, and I say thank you, and please, Hassan and who was that before? And Linda. You know, we're always open to people getting in touch with us, whether it be on Twitter, whether it be on Facebook.
That's the actually, I mean,
the discussion is always open, and we'll be covering the entire Sri Lanka series. We'll be doing the Test matches. We're doing all the other ODIs. We're doing some India, West Indies as well. So spread the word.
There's no point in doing this without you.
Yes.
No. We do it for you.
We do it for you.
Everything we do,
we do it for you.
I think we've had enough singing.
And on that bombshell,
I think we've had enough singing for one day, haven't we? Let's just go through the figures. None for 39, Malinga from his 4 overs. Ponzo 2 for 27, 3.3. Akila 1 for 33. Dhananjaya none for 23. Pradeep none for 21. Maybe you would have expected him to bowl.
Well, you did
3 or 4. He might have bowled at the end.
Over.
And 1 over from Pereira, Thesara Pereira for 8. Earlier, Sri Lanka made 150 for 9. Dick Weller 36 from 20. He went off like a train, didn't he? Sadira 35 from 34. He opened the batting. Chandamal stayed there more or less until the end, got 34 or 42, and Shanaka hit quick fire 21 off 10. Morgan 58, not out. Roy 41, Stokes 35. Rashid, of course, bowled well. From his 5 overs, took 4 for 36. Tom Curran back in the team, 3 for 17. That's about it. England won by 7 wickets. They lead the 5-match series 2-0. We'll be back. We will be back. Oh, it's an early one. It's an early one on Saturday.
We'll be back on Saturday.
But I do believe there are a couple more tweets to get through.
Well, thankfully we don't end on the tweet about trapped wind, which would kind of sum us up well.
Yeah.
It's our friend Mark Zip. Thanks all. Did not get the a whole another. I don't know what that means. But did clean about 40 records in the end. See you at the record show in Syracuse on Sunday.
Hey.
Well, we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be flying across very shortly.
Are you going to be playing out on the PA on your stand again?
I hope so.
That would be funny.
Educating the masses.
Absolutely.
In Syracuse, God, they wouldn't know what the hell was going on, would they?
Well, you never know. You never know. Yeah, so we'll be back. I think it's a 5:15 kickoff on Saturday morning, so we'll be on air about 5:05. And there was the trapped wind escaping finally.
I tell you, the wind don't stay trapped in here, man.
You don't get that on the cricket social.
That just popped out. Honestly, that wasn't deliberate.
Anyway, that's about it. Unless anyone else has got anything to add. England win by 7 wickets. We shall be back.
I think you said it all.
We shall be back on Sunday also for India, West Indies, one-day internationals beginning
Facebook.
there. Until then, it's goodbye from all of us who served the great ship Gorilla today. Good night.
See ya.
Bye.
Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. Threaten them with violence. Che Guevara sang